Say it again now.
She assumed that when the dwarves were driving the car, that they were doing the right thing because they were being run by the DM.
Yeah.
She didn't want to second guess them.
Yeah.
She's like, well, I guess we're just going straight on through. You're supposed to be smarter than the NPCs.
Yeah, right.
The NPCs are on automatic pilot.
Yeah. I don't trust you all the time because you told me you're like, you may die in this.
You may die. You gotta make wise decisions.
And technically he did twice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a special ability that brought him back the first time, and if combat had extended another couple of rounds, he would have had to create a new character.
Yeah.
That's what you get for challenging a 12-foot tall bear, you know?
Definitely.
Yeah.
So I didn't bring them tonight, but I will tell you, way back when Joe and I first started talking about me running a campaign, I got in touch with a company that sells dice sets, and they had a deal on it, and it was a whole set of dice sets, and they were all supposed to be related to gemstones that you find in Dungeons and Dragons.
Okay.
So there was like the ruby dice, the emerald dice, and all this kind of stuff and everything like that. And I was like, that would be so cool. If we start the campaign, I put them all out on the table, and I go pick the one that suits your character the best, and everyone gets a free set of dice and everything like that. So a month and a half later,
They came in.
I finally got in touch. I got in touch with them, and I finally challenged the purchase on PayPal, and I'm like, they won't answer my text. They're like, oh yeah, we send out newsletters every once in a while, and in the newsletters we said they were having trouble with our supply. I'm like, well, I placed an order with you, and you didn't send the stuff, and then you wouldn't respond to me. What makes you think I'd be reading your newsletters to make more purchases?
Yeah, that doesn't make a lot of sense.
So I finally got on their case, and they're like, okay, it's shipping out right away. We're going to throw in an extra set of dice for your trouble and everything. And there it is, the thing that anyone who's bought anything online hates to say: your item is now shipping from China.
Oh,
Yeah.
so
12 weeks later.
I remember I ordered something on Amazon, and it was like 2-day delivery, and it was like, oh, it's shipped from Shanghai, and I was like, this is not getting here in 2 days.
Yeah, right? That's not happening.
It's not even getting to the docks in 2 days.
No.
So anyway, the dice sets are in, and like I said, I didn't bring them with me. I didn't think of bringing them with me. But if you're interested in a new set,
Yeah,
they're pretty cool. Of course, they don't look as cool as they did online, but
I was looking at sets.
Imagine that. You're looking up some sets.
Yeah, I was looking up some sets.
well, if you're interested, I bought them for you guys. So if you want, I'll bring them next time or whatever. And if there's one in there you like, take it. And if you just look at it and you're just like, you know what, it's not really me, or it's not really my character, or whatever it is.
I just want to have some fun with that. Actually, I gave these to Michelle quite some time ago
Okay,
as a gift.
very cool.
And since she's at the class, let Ethan play with it. I thought they'll be really mean and be like, Ethan, where's your dice, dude?
No, those are Michelle's things.
Yeah.
I brought the mix set. So I know that every once in a while people come across spells that have 3d6 or something like
Right.
that, and rolling 1d6 3 times it's just not as cool.
Oh, okay.
If they
So
can-
that's what that means. You roll it three times.
Yeah, if it says 1d6, then you roll 1 6-sided die. If it says 3d6, you roll 3 6-sided dice.
Okay.
Or what most people do is 1 6-sided die 3 times, which kind of defeats the purpose because you boom, boom. There you go, right? It's so much cooler to go, okay, I'm doing some damage, man.
Yeah. Take all this and go.
Yeah.
Yeah, all twos.
Yeah, the time that I had the most fun with it, I think I was telling Joe about it one night, was we were playing the Star Wars role-playing game. I was playing a Jedi, and I rolled a critical hit with a lightsaber strike.
You told me about that.
And the guy just slid a whole bunch of dice. He goes, 2, 4, 7. I'm like, yeah! Because for obvious reasons, they do a stupid amount of damage to begin with, but
I mean, it's a lightsaber.
it's a lightsaber.
Cut through
It's
soul
supposed to do
well
that.
doors with it on it.
Exactly. But the idea is once you take it out, then everyone knows you're a Jedi and you're the instant target.
Yeah.
Just like in old D&D, you go for the wizard first.
Yeah.
I don't know what spells he has prepared, but kill him. The guy standing in the back, hit him
Yeah.
first.
Kill him. He's in back for a reason.
Yep. kill the spellcasters and the archers. While everyone else is running.
And then everybody gangs up on the big guy.
Right.
Yeah.
Looking for the TP kit.
Yes. Exactly. Oh.
We didn't get any XP award last time, did we?
No, because you haven't really been any place to like
Okay, I was just making sure.
avail yourself of it. So I was just keeping track. But if you want, as we go through, we can talk about like what we earned XP for, so you have a basic idea of.
Okay.
You know, I have no problem. The rules officially state that you get experience for a creature even if you don't fight it. If you evade it,
You still get something.
you get something. You don't get full, but you know. So you didn't have to kill the bear, for
Right.
example. If you had figured out, okay, this is protecting its young. Our job is to preserve life. We will simply ride
Just
the cart
disable it.
ride the cart around it, or you know,
Right.
or send the two rangers up front to see if they can calm it, anything like that or whatever. You would have gotten experience for the bear and probably for the cubs also. It wouldn't have been the full experience for killing it, but
Because, yeah, it was explained to me early on in my role playing. It's like you still experience it.
Mhm.
exactly,
Yeah.
you just use different skills.
Exactly, yeah. Oh, did you see that link I sent you, Tim?
I don't know, what was it linked to?
That landing page.
Oh, did you send it to me just now?
Right before I walked out earlier. Pretty sure.
I think I might have put my phone on vibrate before I came in.
See how it's like the website and then
Yes.
the individual page is Facebook promo. And so
Got
once you land on it, you know that that's just for Facebook and it's exclusive. Like you can't find that page through my regular web
Got it.
But
So
you can
thank you for visiting from Facebook.
Right.
There's- Nice.
See what I mean? And you can go to the rest of my website from that, but once you leave that page, you have to go back to Facebook to get back to it. Because I don't want all the website traffic to find that 20% off.
Right.
I want it through Facebook. So I can kind of keep tabs on how much is the advertising really doing on Facebook. All those like learn more buttons aren't, they all go to something, but they're just templates. I
Got it.
haven't detailed them because it's not public yet.
So I should just keep clicking on it until something crashes.
Yeah.
Good.
Like a website building classes, basically. In ninth grade.
Yeah.
Dreamweaver?
I remember
Oh,
that.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember Dreamweaver.
Yeah.
That's back in the good old days.
Yeah.
That's when you actually had to put all the code in yourself. And
Oh, yeah.
today it's so easy. You
Is
just
it?
click and
Yeah,
you know.
Multiple choice, basically.
Yeah, pretty much.
What color do you want this to be?
Drag and drop.
I mean, there's a lot of customization you do to it, depending on how much detail you want to get to. But you can build a website in 2 hours now. You know, no
That's
problem.
pretty cool.
That's decent.
Yeah, it took me like weeks.
Yeah, exactly. I put many hours in my website. Like it's pretty. I think it's pretty nice. Anyways. But then again, I want it to look that way.
Right.
And I just lost fair time into it.
Joe, can you do me a favor? Which deity did we pick for him?
I don't know that he did.
Okay, what was his alignment?
Awful good.
It was lawful.
You made the suggestion. No, Tempest. Yeah.
The warhouse,
Yep. Tempest.
because he's not lawful good.
Well, that wasn't too much good, was it? Oops.
Here's my suggestion, since we haven't really used his thing yet, instead of Tempest, switching to Torm right underneath it.
Forgotten Rise.
Yep. So like courage and self-sacrifice. Because technically the War God doesn't send out paladins.
Okay, yeah, that's true.
Now, will my character choose like a lady or anything?
You
like that?
can. You don't get your powers from you don't get your magic from a divine power.
I just get
You get your magic from kind of an innate understanding of nature.
Okay.
So if you want to think of it directly from there. Did you picked an alignment for me? Do you remember what it is?
Chaotic evil.
CG.
So chaotic good.
Hey, that's what I know. Yeah.
It's a lot of fun.
It's a lot of fun.
Go out and do good in the world and screw everything else.
Yeah.
Screw the rules, screw the people,
It's all
whatever.
about you.
Just do something. Convince yourself that it's for the greater good,
Right.
and you're all justified.
Oh, yeah, right. Because neutral good is all about you.
Right.
Yeah, and I was like,
So the chaotic neutral would be the god of thieves. But I can't remember his name. Is chaotic neutral.
Aladdin?
I just want
Did you see the new one?
No, I haven't.
Yeah, it's really good.
Is it really good?
Yeah.
I told you it'd be good. I told you it'd be good. The new Aladdin.
Oh,
Bryce says it's really good.
alright.
She's just back with the genie.
I wasn't too happy.
I mean, that really wouldn't have been my first choice.
Yeah.
I bet he makes a pretty comical genie.
Yeah, it was really good. It was
But nobody could beat the original genie.
No.
No, Robin would have killed.
No, and that's even what Will Smith said. He was like, I'm not going for his genie.
Yeah.
You know?
The song's not really good.
So do you work at a massage room? Okay.
Yep.
What do you do?
I do massage.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I work there and I have my practice and I work for a chiropractor too.
Oh, nice.
And apparently hunt coyotes in my for extra money now.
yeah.
I had a client give me a gig, a coyote killed his dog. And it was like his best friend. And so he bought a bunch of equipment and he got a gun and everything. And he was like, I'll pay you $300 to kill that coyote. I'm in. So last night I set out till like 11 o'clock. I didn't see anything. But they come through like 2 or 3 times a week. So it's a numbers game at that point. And apparently attacked some horses the other day. Or as a pack of them and a single one. But they're
I'm not
killing
gonna
livestock.
pass that along to Callie because first she was upset that we killed that little dragon.
Let's see.
Yeah. And then she was upset that you guys killed the bear.
I felt really bad the whole time. But I was like, the arrow's
Well, but
been
that's-
shot, so it's too
See,
late.
that's how you get extra experience in the game, and that's how you get something like inspiration.
You're right.
You would step up and you would think to yourself, you would turn to me and say, look, my character is really having a hard time with this. And I would turn to you and say something like, so what are you going to do about it?
Yep.
And there was nothing stopping you other than, and I hope you don't take offense to saying it because I'm just being honest here with that. The player had more hesitation about what to do in that situation than the character did. Because you were looking at it and going, look, these guys have a lot of experience. If they're going in this direction, I'm probably just going to go along.
Well, in my head, I was like, well, the arrow's been shot, so it's mad.
Yeah.
It's mad, right? But the question is, barely injured with cubs there, what would it probably have done? What it probably would have done was taken the cubs and run.
Yeah.
They don't attack; they defend. So now that's not your character's area of expertise either. It's not a character that you would normally find in the grasslands. But generally speaking, that's what most animals would do.
Right.
So if your character would have gotten a bonus for stepping forward and saying, stop,
Right.
everyone back away, and taking charge of the situation. Because honestly, out of the 4 characters who were there, you were the only one, you were the one who probably had the most expertise for dealing with that situation, but the player was having.
Right.
Which is perfectly fine,
Yeah, no.
you know? But,
I'm in on this and I shop with friends.
Yeah, I can do it.
but it's okay to, you know, to ask.
Yeah.
And everything, and say, you know, wait, time out of game.
Yeah.
My character would have a lot of trouble in this situation. So what should I do? You know, and then the answer, unfortunately for most people, is, you know, play the character the way you designed it.
Yeah, you can get
As long as you're true to the character,
That's
the
what
the
I'm
game
thinking.
runs a
Yeah,
whole
yeah.
lot more smoothly. The problem is when somebody takes a thief, for example, who is chaotic or who is evil or whatever, they don't care about the rest of the party.
Right.
So they'll abandon them in just a second and wander off and hide and pick up the stuff off their dead bodies when they know what you guys won in your last combat. You know, you saw you pick it up.
Right.
You know, I didn't get that dagger. Well, I'll get it as soon as he's dead. You know, that kind of thing. You know, so for example, if the thief had decided, look, I'm really good at this, you know, sneak attack thing and everything like that, he's down. The
Right.
bear's almost dead. One ranger is off in the field. She doesn't even know what's happening. All I have to do is turn. The other ranger certainly isn't going to see it coming. I get my sneak attack bonus. You know, that's when playing the character is kind of contradictory to. That's when the DM might step in and go, you know what? It's just not fun anymore. It's like, but playing the character to further the plot line is perfectly fine. And also, you know, the way I was rationalizing it is your character is not used to traveling with other people. That reaction to that bear was probably something totally, like I could see your character just kind of being stunned
Like,
and
what is
going,
going on?
why are you attacking the poor bear? But now that it's in its death throes, it's going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And now I need to put it down because there's nothing else that can be done.
Right.
So if you were interested, I know I showed it to you once before. If you decide you want to align yourself with a deity, you don't need to.
Okay.
There are benefits to doing it. There are downsides to doing it. You can display a symbol of that deity openly, which means that if you come across other people who follow that deity, they will be more inclined to be kind to you. The same as a picture in modern life. Somebody walks around with the Star of David. You talk about the Jewish people, then you get that nod, you know, and everything like that. You say somebody's going to help you. You're
Yeah.
going to help the guy with the cross. And it's not for the guy with the Star of David. Hi, how can I help you? You know, it's just, it's a little bit of a bump. The problem is if you run into somebody who follows a deity that opposes yours,
Then you can have.
then you potentially have a problem. You know, somebody who follows the goddess of peace runs into somebody who follows the god of war, and they immediately dislike each other and they don't know why. So that's going to create more of a problem. But just like anything else, you know, if there's a symbol of the deity, you hide it when you need to hide it, you display it when you need to display it. Unless you're super proud, once he takes on symbols of his deity, he's going to put it on everything. It's going to be emblazoned on his shield. There's no way that you can, and his deity would probably be super pissed if he tried to hide that, unless it was to preserve other people's lives. Okay, the party will die if I go into the city displaying this openly. So you would do a little prayer to his deity and ask for forgiveness in advance for, you know, violating his code and.
So do you feel like I'm playing him all right?
Oh yeah.
Okay, just making sure. I don't know. I don't know, like I know when I did his personality traits and stuff like that, I don't feel like it's really lined up how I'm playing him. But I think I found how he wants to be played.
There you go.
Yeah.
And you can adjust any of that stuff. I mean,
That's
it's,
why it's in pencil, right?
you know, and that's why it's it's one of the reasons I don't like doing it on the computer because it makes it a little bit hard to change. But
Yeah.
you know, the way I look at it is people change over life.
Yeah.
You know, I followed this philosophy for the first 18 years of my life, and you know what? I had
That
this
sucks.
experience. You know, I finally found a party of people. I don't trust new people, and you put it on your sheet. And then you find this party of people that you travel around with for 6 months, 8 months, 10 months, and you find out that they would have your back no matter what. And maybe that's gonna shift.
Yeah.
And that's no longer the philosophy that governs your life anymore.
Well, it's
So-
like my character doesn't really have any experience with people.
Yep, right.
Yeah.
I've played campaigns where you're up in these snowy mountaintops and it's freezing cold every night, and you're out there for 6 months at a time, and you know it's terrible.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is freeze and talk to each other and trek. You're just trying to get through this pass, and you have to trust each other at that point.
Right.
You do. I mean, you have to bundle up at night for heat. You have to pray to God if you slip, someone's going to grab that rope and pull you up versus cut it.
Yeah. There's a lot of war in the domain.
Sorry. There we go.
That's why
I was just looking at.
Oh, sorry. No. Flip to a different. Yeah.
Yeah.
These are the different campaign worlds that have been developed. The huge ones that have been developed for D&D over time. And so what they did was they put it at the back and said, look, if you own all the stuff for this campaign world, feel free to play there.
Yeah.
And everything. Here's how you would
just wanna
modify
say everything here.
what we just did for that. And within
What did
each
you
one of
say?
those
Yeah,
is
that
a
way
list
the
of
whole-
like
I think so.
here are the player classes that didn't exist in the regular player guide, but if you're playing in this particular world, these exist.
So it's just a big, list of all of them.
Yeah, if you and there are lots of them and everything like that.
I mean, like these are worse, ones
right.
that.
If you want to set, first of all, you could do one of two things. You can set your campaign in ancient Iceland, in which case those are the gods and goddesses.
Right.
You can also say, look, my world is kind of a
Like
barbarian
last
setting. I don't want to come up with my own list of gods and goddesses. I'm going to pick one that you want familiar with. It's already, you can read the mythology and everything like that.
Yeah.
Just change the names of where it takes place. And that's pretty much the gods and goddesses of my world. And the whole mythology is already written for you.
Mhm.
Now, for something like the Norse ones and everything, they just copied it out of the book. Anyone can read Norse mythology. But for something like Forgotten Realms or Eberron or anything like that, somebody had to sit and come up with.
These bad.
Yeah, there's books and books and mythology and stories and tales about the great heroes.
Yeah.
Somebody had to sit down and come up with all that, and I'm not honestly not that good.
Yeah. Like I'm used to Greek, Egyptian, and Norse.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Greek is the one I'd be most comfortable with.
Right.
But it's just try and imagine in the world that we've created following Zeus. It just clumps,
Yeah.
But there are rules in here for gladiators and Roman centurions.
All kinds of fun stuff.
There's a whole, what was it? Orient, the Oriental Adventures.
Yeah.
Oriental Adventures. Was something that came out in 2nd edition D&D and existed ever since because people wanted to play ninjas and samurai and everything like that.
Like katanas.
And, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty awesome weapon. Even in this game, it's a pretty awesome weapon.
So you get to fight the Asian dragons and, you have all this chi-centered abilities.
That'd be really cool.
That's where the monk came from.
Mm.
So what they did is as they came up with all these campaigns, they kept little bits and pieces of it. And I'm like, look, people really like playing that. Unfortunately, when 4th edition came out, they went, we're going to use all the good components from every campaign that's ever existed. And
It was chaos.
It was nuts. So some really great ideas in there, but also it was very geared toward combat.
Well, yeah. Didn't you also say that you could just kind of like make whatever in that edition? It was just like you basically pick and choose.
Those players options.
Yeah.
Players options was an intermediate system. I don't know if you ever looked at the players options.
A little bit.
I have the books at home
Like
if you're interested.
4th edition was really overwhelming.
Right.
It was almost like it was chaotic.
Right.
Yeah.
Players editions was I think between 2nd and 3rd, I want to say. And I was explaining it and everything. So if you want to play a thief, for example, in the old system, the thief gets pick locks, disarm traps, stealth, climbing, all this kind of stuff. And you're like, look, I'm a burglar. There are certain things I would know. I don't know how to pick pockets.
Yeah.
Honestly, I would rather climb walls better because otherwise I fall and die.
I'm better at intimidation.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly. I want something that's relevant.
I want to break into someone's house and lay down on the ground.
And I can't. Why on earth would I need sneak attack?
Yeah.
If somebody catches me in the house.
Oh, like a big thing for a thief, like you're saying with the burglar.
Right.
People like a bugbear burglar, as half bugbear.
Right.
But in other words, brutes is what we're getting at. Brute was a subclass, or a subclass.
Bugbear is one of those monsters you come across big.
Nasty
Things. Every time you found a really cool one, everyone always went, what if I could play a half bugbear? What if I could play a half troll? Okay, dude, he's a troll. When is he gonna mate with a human? Yeah, but anyway, people came up with that.
On top of that, the genetics just don't
The genetics is more. But you can theoretically create anything. But so in players options, you would get a package for the thief, and it would say, okay, which of the traditional thief skills do you want? And apportion your percentage success the way that you think the character would have developed. If you don't think you would ever have that skill, put it at 0, and that gives you extra. There you go.
There's your bugbear.
Oh, okay, cool.
So, and that would give you extra points to put somewhere else. But you could modify everything about it. And
That seems like very complex. Like
for somebody
it could get very complex.
for somebody who's been playing for years and years, we look at it all the time and we go, look, here's the package. It doesn't make any sense, but that's the package.
Yeah.
And that's why as soon as we started creating characters, I said it a couple of times and everything. This is what it says you have. You don't need to, right? Who was the Outlander? Did you take Outlander as a background?
Kind of, yeah.
Was that your background?
Yeah.
It's Outlander. It says that your skill is musical instrument.
Yeah. It was,
Yeah, you purposely took something where you don't communicate with people. Why on earth would you be wandering around playing the drums?
He's going to play a whistle to all the frogs.
Exactly. By yourself. And where did you learn that from? So I was just like, look, it doesn't make any sense. You can keep it if you want, but pick something that makes more sense.
If you have time, and it's pretty crazy, but like you go to D&D Wiki or any website, most of them have what they call a homebrew section.
Yeah.
And for the most part, they're fairly balanced. There's some really unbalanced ones in there, but it's people just took bits and pieces and created.
Yeah.
But for the most part, it's balanced still.
I'm trying to get Kelly to play.
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So I found the homebrew. I said, if you could play in the campaign, what would you play? She's like, I want to play a fairy. I'm like, and you look and flipping through the player's guide, and you're like,
Yeah, it's definitely not.
You can meet a fairy, but there's no such thing. And I'm like, okay, what would you do? She's like, well, I want to run around doing good things. I want to heal people and be nice and everything like that. But if somebody's being really mean, I want to be able to smite them. Okay, you can imagine Kelly literally did just be able to smite them.
Yeah.
So I went and found a homebrew. That's how you make a fairy.
Strength -1.
So, well, I mean, the stats are the stats, but none of her weapons are based on strength anyway. So I started making a fairy druid.
Yeah.
And the path that I found is out of Xanathar's. That's basically a healer from the Fae.
So now that you know a little more about D&D and you have an idea of the classes, for example, I went to the D&D Wiki homebrew page.
Yeah.
1,270 classes.
That's a lot.
But most of them you'll never play, but if you needed to, they're there.
Right. And all you have to do, honestly, some of them are a little, you look at it and you're like, look, somebody wanted to play this and they just made it stupidly overpowered. So but you just get everything approved by your DM and
Yeah, that's
it all
the biggest
balances
thing.
out. There's actually a formula that you can follow. It's in the Dungeon Master's Guide for creating new classes and creating new races. And it basically says, look, as long as it falls in this realm, this is a great advantage. As long as it falls in this realm, this is a great bonus. As long as it falls in this realm, and then you just figure out what would your character have. There are some of the things in these books that don't make any sense to me at all.
This one's kind of cool.
Which one?
Arcane Puppeteer. That's a class. You can channel your energy through other things.
Right.
But,
Like
you get that-
Phantasm.
Yeah. But it never ends, though. I mean, they're always.
Yeah.
Always.
Well, someone's always going to have a new idea.
Mhm.
for something.
And the problem is, without a lot of experience with the system, you look at it and you're like, I don't know if that's underpowered or overpowered. Is this really what I want to do? But you can find all kinds of cool things in there.
Cool. This one. Blood Knight. Seems like the more blood you shed, that's where you get your energy from. And you can get some spells from it.
Right. So it'd be part
It's almost like
Eldritch Knight and
right.
Lich. Not Lich. The vampire one. can't think of it.
Vampire one? A vampire?
There was a spellcaster that got more life depending on how much damage they did. Not necromancer.
I was thinking about saying, I was like, no, that's too easy.
It's not. Yeah.
He would have
It's not
spelled
from
that
this
out.
version, but- So one of the things that you start to do, and it kind of takes some of the fun out of the game and everything, but when you meet characters in the D&D world, you kind of immediately start to put them in. Oh, the dwarf who's riding on top with the crossbow on his lap. Okay, so what class do I think he is? So what skills do I think he probably has? What are his stats if Bob is hiding behind his little sheet and everything like that? You know, if we decide to turn on these dwarves, yeah, one of them has a crossbow on his lap, the other one doesn't seem to have any weapons at all.
Mhm.
Does that mean he can't fight? Does that mean he's the talker of the group? He's just an average trader? Or does that mean he can do something that I don't really want to find out about?
Right.
Sorry, what do you think? You know, the most obvious one that you've met so far is not.
Mhm.
What the heck is he?
Yeah.
You haven't seen him technically do anything,
No.
but
He's different.
he's different.
He's definitely different.
He had to have done, and Joe could probably figure it out, you know, he had to have done something to create that tower.
Mhm.
And that limits the classes right down to, there's only like 2 or 3. You know, he's got to fall into one of those categories. The fact that he seems to know what you guys are doing as you're doing it indicates that he's probably not 1 or 2 of the classes and everything. And so you just kind of narrow it down and stuff. Your character doesn't have enough experience necessarily to
Not
know
even a clue.
what they are.
Especially in a world that doesn't have much magic.
Right.
None of magic, anyways. So they're like, I just don't know.
So that just comes with experience, you know.
And that's why I said it takes some of the magic out of it. It's like you meet somebody and you're like, oh, so you're a cleric, you're around 4th level, and so you can do the following things. And I can look it up in the book and see what you can do before you can even show it to me. It's one of the reasons why we didn't create the characters of the team. Because you shouldn't share everything that you can do with other people. I mean, you especially, you barely know these people. There's no reason why they would know your background or where you're from or what languages you speak or anything like that. Especially if you have a flaw that's going to pop up at some point. Yeah, or I like shiny things, or I kill indiscriminately, or for example, why am I blanking on it? Berserker.
Their age.
Yeah. What's the
The
class?
blind. Oh, Berserker.
Not fighter. Not paladin. Barbarian.
You got me too.
Barbarian.
I was blinked.
So none of you have ever met this group. It's in the book and everything. It's one of the standard ones, barbarian, and they get this manic rage thing where they can channel the powers of their ancestors or their totem animal or whatever it is, and everything like that. You've never met these people. It's not part of your experience.
We have no idea.
But they exist in this world. And if we play long enough, you will eventually run across a group of barbarians and not really understand what they're doing or why they're doing it. If one of them joins up at the party, then there you go. And it was very convenient to make magic very rare in this world because nobody took a spellcaster.
I don't know. I kind of like it better that way.
Well-
It's more of a mysterious force.
And that was the reason we were talking about like what you guys have experienced so far that was based entirely on the characters that you picked.
Right.
The area of the world that you started, the fact that it's all grasslands and coastline in your area of the world. You're going to be traveling through mountains and cities.
Yep.
And that's it. That's all that's here. You know, the two big things that you're going to face are going to be the stuff from Fae, which is all undead, which is his chosen area of, his selected enemy. And I put you next to that forest that has the weird paths into Fae, which is her chosen. That's why you guys popped up there. That's why I said, whatever characters you pick, I will make sure that their skills are relevant.
And that's really the best way to do it. I remember the campaigns I used to make it. I had a lot of time to put into them. It was a lot more story based, but that's the most fun. That way you can tease and twist and play, and everybody keep everybody on their toes at all times.
And you don't make anyone feel like they're sitting at the kiddie table.
Yeah.
The first big campaign that I played in, I wound up taking over. They had been playing for a year and a half or 2 years before I joined. And the reason I was asked to join was because one of the key characters of the campaign, the player had to step out permanently.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked me to take it over. And so we kind of went over a little bit of the character's history, but his personality was set, his skill set was set, he was a diplomat and at best a fencer.
Yeah.
Which, when you come up against the things that you come up against, what the heck are you doing with a slim, little point? Everyone's wearing armor. No one's fencing with you.
Right.
So I had no problem playing the character. I love playing the character, but almost nobody that we met wanted to talk. So what's the point of playing a diplomat? So I had to keep trying to make the character relevant by introducing new skills and introducing new things or whatever. It was I don't remember if you said you had seen the Lord of the Rings movies.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Very briefly.
Well,
Not like super.
one of the magical items that exist in there is called the Palantir. It's a weird glowing sphere, looks like a crystal ball.
Okay.
If you remember it, but it's an incredibly powerful communication device that the evil characters all use to communicate with one another. And honestly, Palanian had the diplomat that I paid, had no other useful skills. He's a diplomat for a king and queen basically that have been overthrown. So any
he has no
power that he might have had is gone. He has the ability to talk to people. Nobody wants to negotiate, and he can't fight. He knows some basic spells, and that's pretty much it. And most of his spells involve talking, charming people, disguising himself as other things, all that kind of stuff. Illusion spells.
Not super useful.
Not super useful unless you're doing one of those types of campaigns. But I was the only one who had a character like that. Everybody else was fighter types and battle mages, and nobody wanted to wait for Palanian to negotiate. It's just like. So one of the things that I did was I tried to use, because his main skill was his mind, I tried to master the Palantir and figure out how we could use it so that the bad guys couldn't spy on us, but we could spy on them. And you basically had to use your willpower to overcome this thing. And once you became its master, then you were good. Then you just had to, go in there and out-negotiate out-maneuver rather, everyone else who was using it at the time.
Cool.
So I found a way to be relevant.
Yeah.
But I had to force it, and it was kind of awkward because
Yeah.
the Palantir was supposed to be this mystical thing that only high-level sorcerers could use. And,
Not high
Right.
level. Yeah.
yeah, I'm a court, dandy, literally. So I felt very excluded from that campaign, and I decided when I started running it, I would never assume that the adventure was going to go a certain way until I found out who the characters were and what they wanted, and then base it on that. So you've probably figured it out already. Once you guys develop a relationship with Nock, things are going to kind of build up in either the forest or the necromancer. The necromancers from Thag, or possibly both at the same time. And that's going to be the big, huge climactic thing. You got to go deal with it. That is your backstory. That's her backstory.
Yeah.
The third thing that I came up with is he's a noble from up north. And so eventually somebody is going to try and seize his throne. And you guys get to decide whether you want to travel with them, but it just depends on how long people want to fly.
Right.
Because what I just described is months. And hopefully much higher levels than you guys are currently at. wonder if Ethan's not coming tonight. You're still here right now. I don't know if I mentioned it, but Joe was really, really frustrated when he was running his campaign because he started with, I think, 5 players. And they were playing every other week, and sometimes not even that because people cancel and get on. You go, okay, well, only 2 of the 5 can show up, so what the heck's the point? You know,
Right.
what everyone else is just gonna like lapse into unconsciousness or wander away, or you know, how do you do that? And eventually, all of the original players stopped coming, and it wound up just being Sarah and Ethan.
Oh,
And neither one of them has a lot of experience with this, and so they were kind of everything was kind of dragging, and neither one of them is the talker in the group, so they were having trouble. So we put somebody in the group that tends to rile things up and get things moving, and suddenly we finished the adventure. Have you heard from Ethan?
What is it?
Have you heard from Ethan?
I just texted him before I walked out. I asked him earlier, just he was home earlier, and was like, and he knows that we're playing. He knows we're playing around 6. I know Sarah gets off work about 15 after.
Right. Yeah, I think she said she had a training from 5 to 6 or something like that.
That's what was going on. I remember. 'Cause I know Ethan looked at the chat too, but like I said, he confirmed today that he's going to play. Be here in 10, he said. There's food now.
Surf's up.
Yeah, surf's up, guys.
Right here. Hmm? What do you mean?
You're just eating a salad?
I don't know, I'm happy with it.
Okay. There he is.
It's magical. Who's ready and go?
What's up, Ethan?
what's going on, Sam? What's up, Bryce? Hey.
All right. Oh, it's green.
All the green stuff.
It's okay. There's some purple and some orange in there.
Just a little bit. So huge.
So cheap.
Huh?
So that's hot. Thanks.
Let's say hot surface on this. Just say,
I think it's making it up. I think you should check.
yeah, look at it.
Yeah. See if your tongue sizzles.
There's even 6 to it, like ice.
Of course. Great.
Oh, gotcha.
So the only question that I have is, I know you went over character stuff with Joe, because you're asking questions over that. Did you go over the character history with him? Or you kept that to yourself?
No, he read it.
Okay. So you don't know any of that stuff in that last paragraph?
No, any of what stuff, what paragraph?
Right.
Yeah.
Because at the moment, she knows a little bit more about what's going on than you do.
Right, yeah, definitely. One thing, spell caster ability modifier. I don't remember.
Oh, yeah.
I remember looking at it and saying, I need to write that down. I was reading over.
Where's Sarah?
Oh, because that's all on the second page, and I didn't include the second page.
Oh,
Where's Sarah at?
Not here.
Should be getting there.
Oh, thank God, I wasn't the latest one.
What?
I said, thank God, I wasn't the latest one.
I know, right?
No, I think
I thought it felt
traditionally Sarah is the least.
She
Mhm.
is traditionally.
Traditionally.
traditionally. Finally found the RC yet.
Yeah, and it's mine. Got Skipsy in there for you.
It's mine.
Mine.
All right, so here are two numbers that you're going to need.
What was that sound?
Shared moving. Shared moving.
Your speed is 30. All right, so wherever you'd like to write them down, and you can put it in any one of these boxes if you want or whatever. Spell save, which is what somebody else needs to do if they need to make a saving throw against one of your spells,
Okay.
whatever. So we'll add it together. It's 8 plus your proficiency bonus, which is 2, makes it 10, plus your wisdom modifier is 3. So that'll be
Plus
13. Your spell attack modifier. So like normally when you shoot with something, you would add your attack is plus 6 with this particular thing. When you use a spell to attack somebody, it's wisdom plus proficiency. It is plus 5.
That feels like a full table or something.
There we go.
Or something.
So your spell save is 13, your spell attack is plus 5. That's it, just 13.
Spell ability modifier.
And your spell ability modifier is she has a second sheet.
So are we doing the Hangouts thing or
Hold on one second.
Messenger?
Well, I think Hangouts because everybody has Google because I don't Facebook or anything.
Oh, that was what I meant to ask you, is if you have Google accounts.
Yeah, I have a Google account.
Alright.
Yeah, I don't use Facebook. I haven't used it in years. I don't really want to see people from Facebook.
Right? Like, I ain't missing nobody.
What do I need right here?
Yeah, like,
I think that's all you need to know. There's the,
Okay.
the save and the attack, and your other than that, your spellcasting ability is wisdom.
Mhm.
So anytime it says based on your spellcasting ability, it's going to be your wisdom. Did I leave something out? Is that everything? Take this down. And I included the name of the guy you had teamed up with, right? The guy you were there to help.
Right.
You have his name somewhere. Okay. So when I start talking about him, you'll go, "Oh, that's him."
no, the Lathander is my god guy.
Yep.
Okay.
Knock.
Knock 3
Yeah, right?
times
Knock
on
was the one
cylinder,
that's sitting on the.
That's what you were told anyway. You never
Oh.
actually spoke to it.
Okay.
And the human guy that you teamed up with to help,
Mm.
his name is in there at the end of your history.
So Tim,
Ethan,
what's your personal preference on how many people you like playing in one campaign?
over 6, it gets really difficult to manage.
Yeah.
I like between 4 and 6 as a number because it kind of varies a little bit, like what is going on in the party. Unless you're doing something where like it's a group of clerics traveling together or a group of thieves that create a thieves guild and everyone just kind of specializes in something. But if you're doing what you guys are doing, then you kind of need a little bit of everything. You need frontline fighters, you need ranged attacks, you need, the only thing you don't have is a spellcaster, which is one of the reasons, this is what we were talking about before we got here. It's one of the reasons that magic is so rare in this world. If you guys are taking a spellcaster, then it would be a different story.
Because, that's perfect, because I had somebody that maybe was in mind of playing, and he would want to play a spellcaster character.
So that would be really cool. He would, we would have to be really careful about his history because we've already established that it's kind of rare. We would have to talk about.
Yeah.
So if nobody seems to believe that magic exists, where are all the spellcasters? And why don't people see it on a regular basis? And so that's just something else I'll need to add in.
Okay.
That's actually an easy one.
So do you think you would be up for one last person?
Yeah, actually there's at least 2 other people that have talked about possibly joining, which is not a problem except the table is.
Run out of chairs, bro.
Little tables too.
Yeah,
Hook it
I
up.
think just one right there,
good.
out there, over there.
I was gonna say that's the point at which I call Bryce's mom and I say we're taking you up on your offer because they
Yeah,
have
like
a
16.
table that seats
16
16.
people or something. Way too big.
It's obscene and doesn't it extend to?
It is extended.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So
That's ridiculous.
And there's still not enough room. I think.
See, the guy I'm talking about is my girlfriend's brother.
mhm.
He has experience. It's sort of like Bryce. He has experience with role-playing games. He's just never played D&D. So I mean, but I'm sure he would catch on pretty easily.
Cool.
He's a pretty bright fellow.
And you've already figured out the important part to this campaign is the storytelling.
Yeah.
As long as you get that part of like playing your character faithfully and everything, the mechanics will work itself out. So if that's the only part you doesn't know, then that you can learn on the fly.
I was thinking maybe next Friday, I was gonna bring him over and show him, like have him watch a session, see if he likes it. Cause like I'm not gonna just throw him into the dark like that,
I understand.
He's sort of a stay in my bedroom, play video games kind of kid,
Oh, that's me.
and his family. And I talked about wanting to get him out of the house. I was like, "Well, this might be a perfect way. Get him out, see the world."
See the table.
Yeah. No, but more or less interact with other living human beings. Meet new people.
Explore strange new worlds. Seek out new life and new civilization.
So I'll text Sarah a few minutes ago and see. I know she doesn't really check her Facebook a whole lot. But so I'll text her cell phone to see.
It's actually okay when we get finished with dinner and everything like that. If we want to get the party moving a little bit, she already told me what she's doing. So
Okay.
Well, I can go ahead and explain the recap if you want. And,
Sure.
We can just, fill her in if she gets here. What happened last session is, we started. Wait a minute.
Nice session.
Nice session. Nothing happened. No. I almost got sliced in half by a bear.
We mostly did.
Yeah, you mostly did.
you got knocked around. You got chewed
We're on
on.
our way to help this village of not halflings.
Halflings.
They are halflings. Okay.
If you
Halflings.
accidentally call them hobbits, you can do that too. They just weren't allowed to use the hobbit word because
Oh, really?
it was taken by Tolkien.
Yeah.
They're basically hobbits. They're basically hobbits from Tolkien, except we're not allowed to call them that. So you have to call them halflings.
Okay, so village of halflings that was dying of this strange sickness. The humans have a vaccine for it, or a medicine for it. Not a vaccine. They have a medicine for it, and they're trying to get to tieflings, but it never arrived. So there was this one cleric, correct?
Mhm.
That went to the village and never appeared. So, and then, we were traveling, got pretty far with the two dwarves that we met on the way. One has a crossbow, one is a short sword, I think you said.
I don't remember them having anything on them.
Oh,
The other one didn't carry weapons.
okay.
Not anything you could see anyway.
Oh,
I thought he had a short sword.
That's okay.
But anyways,
That's why we do the recap to make sure everyone's kind of.
came to the fort and we decided not to go to the village, but go towards the central, city. Yeah. And on our way, see this big bear almost chop its leg off and kills me. And then Joe says, "Oh, we got a victory! Oh, we got it." Small ass.
This innocent bear that you bum rushed.
So when Sarah gets here, the two conversations there's one conversation you need to have probably as a party, which is, we talked about this, we touched on it a while ago. If you guys are going to be traveling together, you guys kind of have to get on the same page, because you finally faced your first emergency crisis situation, and the four of you kind of all went in different directions. So out of game, you have to realize that everything that I throw at you is designed for 4 characters. So if only one character engages and the other 3 go and do something else,
I came damn close.
To dying.
To killing it too. Do you remember how many hit points I get it down to?
how many points you got hit down to?
Yeah,
3.
before I died. Oh, 3. Pretty proud of myself on that one.
So
I'm dying.
that being said, something to keep in mind is the lawful good part of your character.
Uh-huh.
You're supposed to be defending the innocent, like, say, a mama bear defending her cubs. That was the side you were supposed to take.
My character did not see any cubs.
You did not.
no,
I did not know there were any cubs present.
That's why I said that the team needs to get on board, because 2 of the characters
solid.
understood what was going on. One of them ran off after the horses, and the other one was very reluctant to, because you had already charged in, didn't exactly know what to do to let you know what he had seen. So that is not on you. That is on the party as a whole. The only reason I'm saying the lawful good part and everything like that is because the bear didn't attack you guys.
At first.
It hit back.
Yep.
When you attacked it. So in the back of your mind, just something that your character would be thinking about is, in reflecting on it, looking back on it, is that something that my god would have approved of? Which is something else that we need to talk about, because the god that you picked is not a god of paladins. So we may need to make a slight adjustment.
It's not.
The war god doesn't send out
Forgot how much
paladins.
I would choose.
But it's
I
cool.
did. Alright,
And nothing
Yeah.
else will change except
Yeah.
for the alignment of the god. That's all it is. You can do everything else exactly the way that you were planning on it. But as
Wait, am
far
I
as-
just changing my alignment?
Nope. Basically, you're just changing one word on your sheet. It's after this.
Name of my god?
Yep,
Mhm.
that's it.
She's out over.
And my suggestion is, instead of Tempest, god of war, you would follow Torm, the god of courage and self-sacrifice.
What's he, what's his description? Other than self-sacrifice.
That's it. You dedicate yourself to charging into battle, to defending the weak and the innocent. That's pretty much it.
Pretty much what you
Which is the way that you described him originally,
Yeah.
but the God of War doesn't believe in any of those things. He just believes in killing,
Well,
which is why he doesn't really stand that. It's why he's neutral. He doesn't care who dies, as long as somebody dies.
I could have put my background that I was the one and only that got sent out by Tempest on a special quest to find his boot. No,
So you're
or not boot. His,
yes, the giant boot. Yes. So if you'd like to do that, you have made an agreement with him that as long as you maintain your lawful good status, he will give you power and war. Will that work?
That'll work.
You want to stick with that God? Okay. So here's the problem that you would think about afterwards. Was that really a good act? Because when you reflect on it afterwards, the bear was in the middle of the road. They had already told you that animals were driven out of the forest. Why he was there is something you didn't necessarily know, but nobody stopped to figure it out.
I would like 10 Hail Marys.
When you play D&D, it's really hard to remember that you don't have to kill everything that you come across. Because if you avoid a trap, you still get credit for it. If you avoid a dangerous animal, you still get credit for it. No, you don't get as many experience points, but
It's so easy to try to kill everything.
exactly. The problem is that if you're going to maintain a lawful good alignment, the more things that you do that are not lawful or not good, make it less likely that your deity will give you anything. You will,
Like one
you will
day my
revert
lay
to
on
the
hands.
yeah, that will not work. Because your deity will go, look, we had an agreement. You said you were going to follow this code, and you're not following it. So why? I don't want you representing me. You can wear my little thing on your shirt and everything, but I'm certainly not going to help you. That's the deal that paladins have with God. Is I agree to follow a certain code. You agree to give me the power to be able to do it.
I don't want to turn back to a fighter.
And the problem is you get to be a fighter without any of the specialization stuff. You fight like a paladin just without spells, which really kind of sucks because paladins don't fight as well as fighters do. Fighters have all kinds of maneuvers and special training and all that kind of stuff. And then what you would need to do is you would have to try and make it up to the gods somehow by going on some kind of special quest, which is probably more difficult than anything I would have thrown at you, and redeem yourself. What you would probably do is find a high-level cleric of your god and say, I was a paladin, but the god no longer speaks to me. You have to tell me what I need to do to make this right. And they would send you on, I don't know if you ever actually read Greek mythology. Anything from Greek mythology? You know who Hercules is.
Yeah.
Okay.
He had to go kill the.
But most people don't know why he had to do that. Everyone knows, okay, he went on all these labors and everything like that, but most people don't know the actual story. He was sent on those to make up for the fact that he went insane and killed his wife and his children. And when he went to get atonement, he went to the king, who had wanted to kill him all along. So it's probably a stupid person to go to. And he went to the king and said, I need to atone for the crimes that I've committed. When I went insane, I knew that I was not well in my head, but I didn't separate myself from my family, and I wound up slaughtering my wife and my children. What do I have to do to make this up? And the king came up with 10 labors that were considered impossible for anyone to accomplish. And of course, Hercules was able to accomplish all 10. And when he showed up back at the king was like, well, what am I supposed to do? This guy was supposed to die doing this. So he declared that Hercules cheated on 2 of the tasks. And so he assigned him 2 more that were even more difficult than the original 10. And when he finally accomplished all 12, he was like, look, I can't find you made up for it. There's nothing I can do to kill you now. I tried. I did whatever I could.
Sounds a lot different than Disney.
A lot different than Disney. The two that he cheated on, by the way, he said that Hercules was supposed to accomplish these himself. One was cleaning out the Aegean stables, which were stables with so many horses in it that if you started cleaning the stables from one end, by the time you got to the other end, the horses had made a mess that nobody could possibly clean, have the entire stables cleaned at the same time because it just took too long. And what Hercules did was he rerouted a river. And the river ran through the stables, cleaned it all out, and then he rerouted the river again, and there you go, the whole stable was clean. And what the king said was, you got help from the god of the rivers by doing that, and so you're not allowed to do it. The other one was the Hydra, which is a creepy creature thing where you could only
It
kill
has 9 heads.
You can only kill it by cutting off a head, and if you cut off a head,
It grows 3 more.
it grows 2 more back in its place. Yep.
Oh, I thought it was.
There's different stories, different versions of the story.
I watched Perseus.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, the original Greek one is if you cut off one head, 2 grow back in its place. So what he did was he had his shield bearer run in with a torch. And every time he cut off his head, he had the guy with the torch sear the wound closed so that nothing would go. And the king said, no, you weren't allowed to get help from your assistant either.
Did you say that in the first place?
He said that he had to accomplish them himself.
Oh, he did?
He said, I am sending you on these labors.
So one of them was justified. One of them was
questionable, yeah. But even so, neither one of them was justified because he shouldn't have had to go do any of the
Right.
10. He should have had to do a regular atonement. You have to do 10 Hail Marys or, go serve the sick and the poor or whatever it is. And it should have been something like that, but the king the king actually worshipped Hera. And Hera was jealous of Hercules because Hercules was the son of Zeus and somebody that he cheated on Hera with.
Well, Zeus cheated on
Zeus cheated on Hera with everybody, yes. But Hera was the one who tried to kill Hercules in his crib by sending 2 giant pythons to strangle him. And when they went in to check on him, he was sitting there holding each of the dead snakes in a fist, playing with them like toys. And actually, Hercules is his Roman name. In Greek, it's Heracles, the foe of Hera. He was actually named after her.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
I haven't heard that one much.
Heracles, because most people don't use the Greek; they use the Cupid. It's the Roman. You ask everyone who's the Greek god of love, everyone says Cupid. There was no Cupid in Greek, but most people don't remember his name in Greek, which is Eros. And once you hear it, you're like, oh yeah,
What
it's
was
just
it?
not a Eros, E-R-O-S.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that name.
Eros and Psyche
Yeah, that's 18.
was the only myth that he was really in. He fell in love with a girl, but she wasn't allowed. She was immortal, and mortals aren't allowed to look on gods, otherwise they basically go insane or whatever it is. So he wanted to be with her, so he spirited her off to this castle and said, I will provide you with everything. We will spend our nights together, we will talk, we will do all the things that husband and wife should do. We just can't ever look at it. So he will only show up at night, make sure all the curtains were drawn, no torches, no candles, whatever. And he would lay with her and talk and, eat and do all the things that husband and wife do. And
Just in the dark.
just in the dark. And one day he told her, you just can't ever look at me. And one day, of course, she got curious and she lit a candle and looked on him and thank you.
Mhm.
And the wax dripped off on him and woke him up. And he realized that it was not going to go well for her, so he made her forget. And that was the only way to keep her sane. And then he realized that he couldn't be with her anymore because she didn't even remember him anymore.
You just make someone forget.
He's a god, he can do whatever he wants.
Valid.
That's usually how it goes.
Should have used them. Maybe
Yeah, it worked in the Medusa thing, but I don't know if it would work in the.
in that sense.
I broke my tailbone today.
Well, Kelly was in New York, one of the shows she went to see is called Hadestown. I don't know if you know anything about Broadway stuff. It's a retelling of the story of Orpheus from Greek mythology, but it's done in like a jazz blues. All the characters are black, and it's like the new hit show. It's impossible to get tickets for it in a smaller theater, so a certain number of people can go, but it's ridiculously expensive, and somehow she managed to wrangle tickets to it. But after she saw it, she texted me and she's like, do you know the story of Orpheus? Yes, I know the story of Orpheus. So I told her the story and everything, but I told her the version that she would like the best because the problem with mythology is depending on which region of Greece you hear the story from, it's a local story, and they just pretended like it was all, oh yeah, we have that god, yeah. So I told her the one with the happy ending.
She likes happy ending.
She likes happy ending.
That's why I'm surprised she watched Game of Thrones.
She didn't.
Oh, she did.
Not one episode. No, refused. She wouldn't have fun with it because she
She would get attached.
would get attached to a character and
And then it got it.
right. And the only characters who really last until the end are the ones who are very difficult to get attached to anyway. So
We were talking about who?
Game of Thrones.
Ah,
Before that was Orpheus and Eurydice, and then we were talking about Game of Thrones. It's so funny because she sends these things all the time and everything. She went and saw Hamilton, and she's like, "Do you know the history?" Yes, I know the history. You know, it's funny. She's like, you know, I make fun of you every once in a while because you know we have a job where you need a bachelor's degree, and honestly, it doesn't matter whether you went to West Point or Yale. They all come the same. She's like, but it's conversations like this when I realized that there was a little bit of an advantage that you like read books at your school, whereas I didn't.
I just know that from like Percy Jackson and then expanding from that, you know.
Right.
Like, oh, that's an interesting character.
Yeah. Yeah,
Reading more about
and
it.
that's where I learned. I mean, when I was little, I read little stuff like that and whatever. And I got interested in that stuff. I was never big into dinosaurs or space, and those are really big for a lot of kids. But mythology was always I loved reading the Norse stuff. The Greek stuff was my favorite. I think because it was the only one where they acted like people.
Yeah.
And Celtic, the Arthurian stuff, and all the takeoffs on Celtic myth.
I tried reading like, the Egyptian one, but that was like,
The one from Rick Riordan.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's got a little complex.
that's the one where they start off in the museum, right? Okay. I did those on audio, and it made a whole lot more sense.
Okay.
So
I think it was just for the follow.
I had trouble reading it also. It makes more sense on audio because they read it so that they emphasize all the right things.
Yeah.
It's hard with that books because you don't know what's going to be relevant and what's not going to be relevant. So with the audio book, it's a whole lot clearer.
Okay.
Audible.
Yep. I have a huge Audible library. Honestly, I don't think I would ever be able to listen to everything that I have in my library. But it's cool to know that if I really want to, I could.
At that point, it's not even reading books, it's listening to a podcast.
Well, you're reading the book, you're just not physically looking at it. It depends on your definition of reading. You put 10 teachers in a room and say, is listening to an audiobook reading? And every single one of them will give you a different answer. So I personally don't see any difference.
We could get your. I would look at it as like you're reading it in your mind.
Yeah.
Or
It depends on what you're getting from it.
think about it like this. If somebody else is reading your book that they read too. Correct definition, right?
Yeah, but if you're looking at the book, you're being spoken to just in writing. The author is telling you the story rather than the person who's reading. Somebody's still telling you
But
the
you're
story.
listening, not reading.
You're listening, not looking. But in my personal opinion, you're still looking. Reading implies comprehension of the story.
What's the definition of reading?
Comprehension of the story.
Wait, really?
Comprehension of a text. However you get it into your system.
Well, that makes much more sense because you're comprehending it, right?
Yep. Now, the problem is that they want teachers to teach listening and speaking and reading and writing, but we only test 2 of the 4. So why would you bother teaching the other 2?
Yeah, you test reading and writing.
We test reading and writing. And now, by the way, on the FSA, they have the part where you put on the headphones and they read you a text that doesn't appear anywhere on the screen. It's only an audio file.
Yeah,
you
they
questions.
do that.
And you can pull the bar back and forth and listen to it over and over again.
I would have
But
been a
it's,
little tough.
so if you haven't practiced that in class, if you haven't done any listening skills,
I don't think I've ever had a listening skill one. I don't think I've ever experienced one.
Well,
You don't know
unless
how to
you-
listen.
and let's be honest, if you were going to learn something in school that was going to be valuable outside of school, which one would you focus on? Reading entire books or listening to a conversation and understanding what people are talking about?
Listening.
Right. It's the only one that's actually relevant. And we already know that, I believe the last number was 85%. 85% of Americans do not read a book cover to cover after they graduate from high school.
I haven't touched a book since like middle school.
Unless they go to college, in which case they don't read it until after
I don't
they
think I've
graduate.
ever read a full book ever.
That is not correct.
Now, Michelle, on the other hand, she's a little bookworm.
I used to read a lot. And then I found an Xbox.
There you go.
Dude, I would take everybody's suggestions. I'd be like, okay, I'll get this book from the library, and I'd toss them in the corner and say, lame.
Yeah. That was my problem.
There's my number.
Wow.
So for 2019, I'm at 135 bucks.
Of 150. And
Awesome.
I set the target at 150, but I count audiobooks, I count
Yeah.
graphic novels, I count all the things that you should count.
like I just realized when I was a kid, I read a manga that is now an anime. And I'm watching it and I'm like, why does this look so familiar? Because it was a manga. It was
Oh.
Initial D.
Oh, live a life.
I don't know that.
Yeah. It's about race car. Drifting through mountains of Japan.
Cool.
This is before I was even in the cars. And one of my friends had given it to me. And I read it. I was like, oh, that's really cool. Forgot about it. You know, it's 12 years later, I'm watching the
Some of the
anime
best
one.
stories I've ever read are graphic novels
Yeah.
in various forms and everything like that.
Yeah.
Watchmen. I don't know if you saw the movie. It's got the superheroes that have to go underground because superheroes are declared illegal.
Okay, that sounds really familiar. That was a graphic
That
novel?
one was good. That was a graphic novel. Awesome. It won all kinds of awards. It's a comic book series. Then it won awards as a graphic novel. Then they finally published it, and then it won awards as a movie. So, Camelot 3000 was really good. If you like the Arthurian stuff, the idea is that in Arthurian legend, it's written on his gravestone. I'm not gonna say it in Latin. I'll say it in English, but. Here lies Arthur, the once and future king. And the idea is that Arthur is more of a concept than a person. And Arthur will return every time Britain is in danger. So it is the year 3000 and aliens are attacking the Earth. And Arthur and his knights are reborn in various forms. Arthur returns himself, and basically as he comes out, all these little like will-o'-the-wisp things go and like touch all these people around Britain, and they become Galahad and Lancelot and Guinevere and whatever. So Guinevere is a police captain with special forces or something like that. So she's got all the weapons expertise and she's got all the police on her side and everything like that. You know, Tristan and Isolde, which is one of the great romances from Arthurian legend. Unfortunately, Tristan and Isolde, the spirits touch 2 women. And they're not 100% sure what to do with this. So they finally decide, because in the 80s when the book came out and everything, that's not going to stop them.
Yeah.
So
That's a very interesting concept.
Camelot 3000 was awesome. Watchmen was awesome. V for Vendetta.
I've always wanted to watch that
which
movie.
was the movie with Natalie Portman. It's based on a graphic novel. Really, really good. I have all of them at home if you're interested. And they're all comic book form, so they're
Yeah.
easy to, they're easy to read.
I remember the biggest thing about the mangas was bad words.
Yeah.
This. Just was.
Yeah, and my kids are always like, "Oh, I want to read this. I want to read this." Dude, you don't even read forward.
Yeah.
It's hard enough reading forward. They're always stumped when I, especially the little kids and everything like that. When I take out a book, like what everyone's reading, and I take out a book and I go,
You flip it.
and of course all the little kids, even up to middle school, they're all like, "You're doing it wrong." Wait, they're like, "No, it's upside down." I'm like, "It's only upside down to you." Multi-classing allows you to gain levels in multiple classes. Doing so lets you mix the abilities of those classes. And they're all looking at me like, "How do you do that?" And I'm like, "I've read so much that, the words look the same upside down as they do right side up."
Yeah, that's really cool.
One of those completely useless talents.
I probably couldn't do it as easy as you could, but if I focus.
Well, I have a lot more,
Right.
a lot more experience than most 9 other people.
Yeah.
Everyone's got to have a talent. That's fine.
Yeah.
I can do that. I can do the alphabet backwards.
So you'd be great for if you got pulled over.
Right.
Have you been drinking? I need to do the alphabet backwards.
Sure.
And you say it, and you're like,
You
okay.
can skip letters, or you're just
Yeah.
and the states in alphabetical order. Well, we started. Kelly's got friends from school that started going over to, what was the name of it? Downtown Bureau, the Sean Ryan Pub.
Oh yeah.
Again. And apparently Tuesday nights they do trivia. And it's like no cell phones, but you can have as many people at your table as you want. And basically they read out the questions out loud. Some of them are multiple choice, some of them are fill in the blank. Some of them are, I'm thinking of a list of 10. You have to list as many of the 10 as you can. You get 2 points for each one. It's all kinds of different rules as you go along. And then you run the answers up and everything like that. And the first, second, and third place teams in pub at the end win gift cards.
Oh, cool.
So we came in first place the first time we played, and second place the second time.
Cool. Tuesdays?
Yes. So they wanted me at their table. So like last one, the category, it was so funny because the category was mythology.
Yeah.
And everybody at the table goes like this. They go. I'm like, okay, I got it. All right, I'll try. I mean, it could be like Japanese mythology. I don't know. It's Chinese mythology. I don't know anything about Kirin. I think the names of the Japanese dragons. But that's all I know. The question was, in Greek mythology, who is the god of dreams? Unfortunately, I knew it. I just wrote it down at the end. And they're like, "You are so wrong because I know where that name is from, and it's not from Greek mythology." Just turn it in. Like, how many points you want to bet? I bet all of them because.
Oh, you have to bet your points?
What you do is in each round, there's an 8, a 6, a 4, and a 2. When you turn in a question to question 1, 2, 3, or 4, you decide which one is this going to be. Is this going to be your 8-point question, your 6-point question, your 4-point question, or your 2-point question? So if nobody has any clue,
2-point.
you put it at 2. If you're pretty sure, you do it at 8. Like one of them was, which is colder, the Arctic or the Antarctic? Actually, I'm sorry. They said the North Pole or the South Pole.
Oh, okay.
Which is colder, the North Pole or the South Pole?
I'm not sure. I
So
think it's South.
the question is, how many points are you willing to get? I mean,
Exactly.
really, it's a 50-50 shot. But there's 2 things that give it away. Number one, it's the South Pole because that's where the ice is. And number 2, that's where the penguins are.
Mhm.
So,
I was thinking if the sun really doesn't go to.
well, the sun doesn't go either place. It doesn't hit the Arctic.
What I did was I took the tilt in my head, and I was like, kind of tilts more in the north. Yeah.
So but the question is, how many points would you bet? 8, 6, 4, or 2?
600.
So it is the Antarctic, and then I explained to them where the names came from, why it's called Arctic and Antarctic. Yeah, from that.
Nope, I don't know that one.
Arctis is Latin for bear.
Oh, okay.
The north, right?
That's where the polar bears are. And Antarctic is
No
no bears.
Yeah.
That's literally what it was named after.
But
Whether there were polar bears or not.
non-flying birds.
Right. But they're everywhere. They're in the deserts too.
Yeah.
So in Greek mythology, by the way, the god of dreams is Morpheus,
I knew that.
which is why they got him for the Matrix. Because
Hello.
the question was, is this world a dream or
I know.
not? And so they called him Morpheus.
I have never watched.
The Matrix?
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah, they get sillier as you go along in the series.
Yeah.
If you're interested in borrowing, you're here.
Oh, it's me.
They already put your around for you.
Oh, thanks. Well,
So just to make sure everyone knew the mythology was my category, after I came up with the Greek god of dreams, I also told them who the Greek
Yeah.
god of sleep was, which nobody
I hear
knows,
you.
but once you hear it, you'll go,
I hear
oh, actually, that kind of makes sense.
Very
The Greek
massage.
god of sleep is hypnos, which is where we get hypnosis from putting you to sleep. So one of them was, how much does it cost to buy a utility in
That's
Monopoly?
cool.
In Monopoly?
That's pretty cool.
yeah, so I just found
But no
this,
one
$150.
just stick around in them.
During the McCarthy hearings, McCarthyism was the hunt for communists in the government and
Wow.
all that kind of
Points.
stuff. We,
Oh,
Was-
It's
was
like,
active
this
was-
can
was
expose
president
you
at
to
that
like
time and nobody
some
knew.
blah, 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 like.
except the
Chemical,
really old
like-
people, the other
Do
tables
I
were
wanna
like,
read
Probably
it?
why, yeah.
I don't know, dude.
I know it now.
I live in
I didn't know
California.
that. It's Eisenhower.
Nope.
That's in California, right?
No, I only can't hear from in California.
Once upon a time, a really popular version of music was big band music. Technically speaking, how many people have to be in the group in order for it to qualify as a big band?
Five.
We didn't know
I
that.
don't know.
It is 10.
I was gonna say 10.
Yeah.
It apparently used to be more. I think they said it used to be 12, but in modern music, you can do it with 10. So, one of the categories was classic cartoons. So I'm thinking Bugs Bunny and whatever. And
Was it like?
so the question was, in He-Man and the Masters of the Universe, what was the name of his feline companion?
Starts with S.
Sylvester.
No.
Seven.
I know this. I can even remember.
And everybody at the table went, what the fuck? And I'm like, do you want me to just write it down? They're like, do you know all these? Like, that's why you brought me to
There's
trivia
something
night.
S, so.
Because I know this crap. It
Where's-
does not. No.
Does not.
Where's trivia?
This one is at the Sean Ryan Pub in downtown Bureau.
That's a good one.
If you want to
Tuesday
go to a
nights.
pretty fun one, there's I think once a month they do like a tournament.
Excellent. Did they give away money too? Because we cleaned up the
They
first
might.
the
I
two
have
nights
no
we
clue.
went. In fact, we're going back a third time and we're using all the stuff we won, a free pitcher of whatever we want, and 2 gift cards so far. So we're just gonna
Alright.
use all of that and go back a third night and go for free.
What nights do y'all go down?
Tuesday nights.
I'm enjoying it.
Whenever we want. I'm the ringer at the table, because every time they get that,
Oh, right
the
on.
only category I don't even guess on is sports. So,
Yeah.
I'm not your guy for
I
that one.
can't. They're like, of these 3 people, 4 of them were, nominated for this award. Only 3 times. Which one was nominated for all 4 times?
Babe Ruth.
You just, I don't know. Yes, like college sports and stuff like that. Oh, what was the question we didn't do the answer to? I started asking the question.
Do they do extreme sports too?
Not so far, but I don't know if this particular crowd would. He mixes it up a lot.
What about like
This
extreme?
Like,
X
like,
Games.
Like
Yeah.
ice games, like BMX and skateboards. I could tell you those.
Yeah, you would hope that they would throw something in there to encourage people to bring their kids, to dinner or whatever. But
No parachute skydiving.
classic cartoons, right?
Oh, yeah.
So I was the only one at the table that knew. Not only did I know the cat's name before he changed it to He-Man, I knew his name after he changed it to He-Man. name changes. First he's Eric, Prince of Eternia, and then he
Right.
becomes He-Man. The cat is Cringer
Cringer.
before he changes, and Battle Cat after he changes. This is what I did with my childhood. I read mythology and watched cartoons and read comic books. We were talking about graphic novels that, you know.
A what book? So we did a recap.
Okay.
We did a recap.
I do pretty well.
Yeah, no, I think you hit all the good stuff.
Make me remember the very eventful time we had.
So the only thing that we talked about that you guys kind of need to, and it was kind of springboarded off of your response to the bear. Okay, you guys noticed something really important about the bear and why it was there on the road and everything, but never shared it with anybody else. And so what wound up happening was, just to kind of show you the position that the paladin, that the group is now in, the paladin, who's supposed to do only things that are righteous and good, wound up slaughtering an innocent animal trying to protect its babies.
Yeah.
So his god is not very happy right now.
Oh,
Okay.
that's fun.
In addition to, of course, the god of nature, who he doesn't follow, but she noticed.
But it's still effective.
Yes. So, so that, when we started, I said, spell casting, like wizards and everything like that, is not something that you guys know. But the gods are actually a pretty big part of people's lives. So we also talked about, if you want to take another look at the list and decide whether there's a god that you're aligned with or whatever, there's a plus side and a downside to everything and stuff. The example that I gave is, the Jewish guy has two people walk up to the counter. One of them has a crucifix around his neck, and one of them has a Star of David around his neck. Who does he wait on first? You go to the Jewish guy. I mean, it's kind of a natural sort of an inclination and everything. So if you have a god that you follow and you stumble into somebody else who follows a similar god, they may give you a little bit more. However, if you worship the god of peace and you stumble across somebody who worships the god of war, you may not get along quite so well. Until you get to know each other as people. But when you start, you realize that your alignments are probably, your views of the world are probably totally different. But just like anything else, you can show it, you can hide it. At some point, Ethan is going to have to display all the symbols of his God really openly. It's going to be part of his ethos. But just to let you know that they are around, they are watching, they are doing whatever, or at least that's the common.
Would you like, I'm sorry, ranch or both on your salad?
Put both on.
I'll go.
That's what I did.
Okay.
I'm not a ranch person.
Offended, I get
Yeah, every single time we order pizza, my stepson asks, did they include ranch? I'm like, I understand that you dip your pizza in ranch, I get it. But you understand that no pizza place is going to randomly include ranch dressing when you order pizza, right?
I guess if you ask for it.
We do it sometimes, if you ask for it, yes.
They won't just put it in the box.
But he never asks. He's always like, did they? And we have a whole bottle of it in the fridge, so I don't even know why he bothers.
I think pizza.
I do have a bird song.
That's the only way.
I have pizza.
It's the downside.
Is the down acid or something?
At least most of it's soft for you.
Alright, so the other, and the other thing that I touched on, and you guys can do it while you're traveling or whatever, and everything like that is, you now have your first experience of working with these guys. We found our first real crisis situation. Well, there was one crisis situation that you guys handled relatively quickly. This was the first really big one, and the four of you kind of all headed in different directions. So just kind of, common sense sort of thing, at some point you guys are going to have a talk about, all right, if we're going to be traveling together, we need to all stand by one another. Who's going to be kind of the front person and everything like that, who's going to, because if it's just whoever has the highest initiative, then that's not, it just means that they're the fastest person, doesn't mean they're the smartest person. And to be quite honest, the people who should have been, this is totally out of game, but the people who should have been really running that encounter are the two folks that were brought in specifically to deal with nature. One of them did exactly what his character would do and sort of paused and held back and everything like that and went, let's analyze the situation. One of them went, ooh, wild animal, and went running after the horses, okay? Perfectly fine responses, except this is not their area of expertise, so they did what came naturally to them, which now that you look back on it, was
And
probably
also-
not the best way of handling it.
Neither one of us knew they were Cubs.
Right.
Yeah, we did.
Well, we knew alligator. We knew
Maybe
alligator.
decided not
but-
to share. Right, exactly. So, and I don't want you to ever think that you shouldn't do, we were talking about this
Yeah.
a lot. Don't ever hesitate to do what you think your character would naturally do. That your job is to play the character to the best of your abilities. And if you get stuck and you're just like, you know what, and we've had this conversation, if you just go, I don't know what my character would do. That's when you stop for a second, you go, okay, out of game. As a player, I don't know what I would know and what I wouldn't know. And that's when we get to all chicken and egg, if that makes sense. All right. So I want you to feel confident that what you're doing is going to move things along and everything like that. But I don't want you to ever feel like, well, I know this is good for the game, but my character would never do this. That's just stupid.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want you to ever feel like that. So that's when we need to either talk about it or talk about like how the character is designed.
Yeah, or vice versa, what you would want to do versus what you.
Yeah, and that's one of the hardest ones and everything. It's one of the reasons why I was really happy that nobody took a character with an evil alignment.
Right.
You wouldn't share that with other people in the team, though one of the people as soon as he started looking for that stuff, you would light up like a Christmas tree. You know? So it's hard running a campaign with neutral and good people and like one person who's dedicated to evil. Your goals are kind of aligned for this particular part of the mission, but when somebody starts shooting at you, you're just as likely to turn and lose. Like one of the things I mentioned to Price was you're very lucky that the rogue doesn't have an evil alignment because he would have realized she's off doing nothing, he's on the ground, the bear's almost dead, and this guy won't even see it coming.
Peace.
I know where he keeps all his stuff, and I have a whole wagon full of stuff to take this to the city and trade. When she comes back, I'm going to say, I don't know what happened to them. And when she goes over to investigate, I kill her too. If you have a character with an evil alignment, it's really difficult to justify staying in a party that's not doing what you would want to do.
Aaron Dampier,
Yes.
he stole everybody's money, he set a bunch of traps up and left him in a dungeon. Behind him, burning, wall of fire.
Right. I mean, it's not
I don't think I was there for
unplayable,
that
it's
session, but I
just
do remember
inconvenient.
Yeah.
So, I mean, chaotic is tough enough to do and everything like that, but usually as long as you guys aren't working for a king or baron or something like that, you don't have to worry about lawful versus chaotic for the most part, because you don't care who's in charge. You just go out and do good things.
All right.
All right, any quick questions before we go ahead and start?
I don't think I'm good.
Excellent, okay. So, you guys were skinning a bear. Okay. While the Cubs watched and cried. And no, they took off. They took off and just showed up on Facebook. But yeah.
Does that show you though?
Yeah, you
Okay.
So you recovered all your arrows, anything like that for both of you. I'm gonna assume that. So we're just gonna replenish that.
Oh, at this point, I guess I'm gonna take a moment. I really gotta get you guys' names down better. Heffen, name also back, please.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'll give you a hero's.
Thanks.
And we obviously have to do a little weapon cleaning and taking care of stuff and everything like that. But so while the dwarves are trying to repair this wagon and make it usable again, is there anything other than what I just mentioned that people would like to work on, do, check, verify, cast, steal?
They're pretty intent on which part of the wagon?
Well, the problem is that they have the front part that they were riding in, which looks a little unbalanced. It's designed to have a back part to it that's attached to the 4 horses. Then there's the back part that has all the stuff in it that you guys were riding in,
Right.
and the connection between the two snapped
Right, I remember that
when
one.
they went. So they are trying to figure out how to jury rig something and get those two back sufficiently that when those 4 horses pull it, that it can pull that second part of the wagon with all those barrels in it.
Have they happened to take any of those barrels off of the second cart?
They have not.
And they're pretty right there at the cart.
Yep.
Okay.
You can make a suggestion, or you can drive for stealth.
No, I mean, I was just going to, I really wanted just to try and see if I can pop a cork or something, make sure that's really what's in those barrels. Yeah. That was my plan.
That's the plan. Are you actually doing it in game?
No, not there at
Oh,
the
alright.
cart. I would wait till.
Well, yeah, they're literally working on the
Yeah,
front of the
right.
wagon that these things are
That's
in.
what I was wondering.
So
If
what
they
you
had
could do
unloaded
theoretically is wait until like one of them's lifting and one of them bending down, or whatever. But
some. Actually, I'm gonna walk up and, guys, it would probably be easier to work on the cart because there's this teetering situation if you unloaded some of the load off of it.
okay,
No.
not bad. That's not good either. Okay. Um, all right. It has been about an hour and a half or so. You collected everything you needed to do. You calmed down the horses. You fixed all your weapons and everything. Made sure everything's working. You skinned your bear. You collected your arrows. Double checked everything. It's been about an hour and a half. And you make that suggestion, and both of the dwarves sort of sit down on the dirt, and they go, "We just can't fix it." Sorry, they felt that wrong.
Okay.
Badly.
So what's your plans then?
Well, they look at each other and say, I suppose one of us should stay with the wagon, one of us should head back to the city and get one of the other wagons, and then we can move this stuff over. Yeah, that's probably a good idea. I'm not coming. I'm not coming. It's my idea.
Which city are you guys going to? The previous
We need
city?
to go back, yeah.
Okay, I didn't know if they meant go up there
No.
and bring one.
That's where our warehouse is, and we can go get another wagon, but
And how much farther till our destination?
it should be about a day's walk. You would need to camp overnight, but you should be there early tomorrow.
As long as I was neutral. Okay. Well, I'm just gonna walk away from the situation and
Just by yourself?
yeah, I'm gonna kind of wait until you guys look and kind of gesture. That way we can get away from them.
Or I'll walk over to
Yeah, I'll walk over.
What are you guys thinking? What do you think about the situation?
You know, I'm pretty sure we have like pretty urgent situation on our hands, so maybe we should just continue on for our destination with them with other things for their ish.
Sorry.
Helpish.
Um,
I'm not opposed to that.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Well, we can't leave them stranded here.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't actually call this stranded. They still have horses and they're going to get another vehicle. I wouldn't call it stranded. I mean, it's not like their horses died.
They're a dwarf leaving by itself
maybe we should ask them if they know.
and one
anything.
staying, considering we just saw a bear that we could barely take down.
That was pretty funny there. All right, well, I see your point. I'll vote to go on now. I'll take the party's full vote. I'll do whichever, but that's my vote. I agree with the, my kind over here. And we probably shouldn't waste too much time. It's pretty urgent.
Would you want to see if one of them would come with us? See if he can get stuff at the city?
Yeah, I would be opposed to that.
Yeah, 'cause isn't it harder to walk back than to
It
walk
is.
forward further?
And so it looks like one of them has, they played some kind of dwarf version of rock, paper, scissors. And the guy with the crossbow appears to be staying with the wagon, and the other one appears to be gathering up supplies from inside of that first wagon that you were riding on.
Could I go look at, see if there's any simple things done with the card?
Yeah, sure. Do you have any crafting skills? Woodworking? Any of that? I don't remember what we gave you as far as. Oh, that's right, you were a noble, so you don't do that kind of stuff. So, all right, give me a general intelligence check.
Oh, God. Come on. I'd be like,
Hey, I didn't design a character.
yeah. I look at it and say, what's wrong with it? There's nothing wrong.
Gentlemen, if you cannot fix a simple wagon,
Well, perhaps put some rope or anything help.
are you suggesting that?
Yeah.
We've already thought about it, but I don't think that the rope would be strong enough to hold this for any length of time. Besides the fact that every time the cart shifted, the back cart would slide. We wouldn't be able to make the rope tight enough. No, it's just simpler and safer for the cargo to go back. And many people don't use this road, so I'm not really worried about thieves or bandits.
What if one of you comes with us to the city that you were going to get supplies to fix the wagon?
So they kind of glance at each other. I don't think the humans would be inclined to help us in any way. It's bad enough that we have to trade with them.
I asked them, what kind of metal?
Okay.
I wouldn't know that. Oh, this is really tough.
The problem
Okay,
is they don't seem to
fair
have
enough.
running tools. And
Yeah, I
there's
know.
no extra supplies to like even splint things together. They don't have basic things that you've seen anyway from them fixing it. You're looking for things. I mean, you've been to the stables. You've watched maintenance around the keep where you're from. You know hammers and nails and everything like that. You're especially good at building things, but you know what they need. But they don't seem to have any of that stuff with them, which kind of leads you to believe that this is never
I
happened
probably,
before.
have basic knowledge. I've probably been to a couple of blacksmiths, correct?
Probably.
I go back and ask them what kind of metal, or is it wood or metal or,
It's a combination. You can tell it's a combination of wood and iron.
okay. Is where it's attached, is it metal?
There was a metal attachment. There were bolts in it, and it looks like the bolts have snapped. So there's literally nothing to hold the pieces together.
Oh, so just the bolt snapped.
The bolts have snapped, yeah. So and the wood at the end splintered where the bolts were and everything, and they're trying to figure out how to attach these pieces together, but there's nothing to attach them with. They fit into each other, but then they come right back out again. And you can tell that the amount of pressure that would be on this joint from trying to drag this wagon would be huge. I mean, you have no idea how much it weighs, but it took 4 horses.
Is that, asking the dwarves, is that road back there the only way into the halfling village?
It's the only way that we know of. I don't think we've ever been to the Halfling Village. No need. And it's down by the beach. Very unpleasant.
Well, I
All
guess
right.
we'll just keep.
So the dwarf will pack stuff up. And
Maybe
he starts
that-
hiking back down the road.
Maybe there's something in that front carriage that you guys are overlooking, you could use. We can take a look at it for you. I'm gonna climb into the.
And the guy with the crossbow comes over and pulls the thing aside and stands there and he helps you up into the.
So what all's in there?
It looks like it's where they throw all their personal stuff. It looks like one of them could sleep in there. It's got a blanket and bedroll. It's got some rations. It's got enough stuff there that they could make a campfire with. That's really pots and pans. Basically, the equivalent of an explorer's pack.
Okay, that's what I
You
figured.
know,
I just wanted to peek and see what was in there. Okay, nope, nothing.
do you want to do a more elaborate search?
You know, well, then you said you was standing there with it open. So I'm gonna teeter around in there and start like flipping things around.
All right, give me a sleight of hand roll.
Uh, 12.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you start to, yeah. Perhaps if you told me what you were looking for, I could help you.
Well, anything that would be helpful.
I see. Well, it's mostly rations and blankets and such.
All right then. I guess I'll get out of here. I'll climb out.
Okay.
It's worth a shot.
And I gave you the sleight of hand roll.
Yeah, I know, that's what I'm saying.
I can't give you any more less than that.
No, it's okay.
All right. So he's over and he's sort of patting down the horses. And so I suppose you folks will be moving along on your own.
I suppose so.
There's a chain, I think,
Say again.
or chains.
Unless you brought something with you, you haven't seen anything like that. Chains might work if you could figure out how to attach the chain to the front carriage and how to attach it to the back carriage. But I don't know if anyone has one, and you would have to figure out how to attach it securely.
You said they couldn't get the lines, you couldn't get the lines taut enough to keep it stable?
Or just keep the wood and bracket keeps slipping.
Yeah, if you
back
just
out
time,
there.
yeah, if you just tying two things with rope or whatever, it's just gonna
All
swing
right.
back and forth until the weight finally does exactly what it did in the first place.
What if you hold my feet and I hold the back carriage?
That sounds like a great idea.
That
We
sounds
should do that, guys.
You do that,
Yeah.
we'll walk into the city. Stay just like that, we'll come back for you.
All right.
You know, that used to be a way that they killed people, by the way, it was to
Mhm.
tie your
Yeah,
extremities to
horse.
horses and
Not that
stable
it's a bad
things, just
idea.
pull in different directions.
Ordering or something
Yeah,
like that.
we're ordering. I'm gonna look at the party and just,
Nice.
I'm up for going.
So we're relying on you for the terminology, guys.
Quite educational.
You'd be surprised. All right, so you
So
guys,
what type of beverage do you have in the back? What kind of alcoholic beverage?
it's cheap ale that the humans tend to like. We don't drink it ourselves, but
Is it really that bad?
it's really that expendable that we're willing to waste it on humans. And they're out in the middle of nowhere and don't seem to know how to make this stuff, so they have no choice.
Makes sense.
I'm good for going up to the
Another one,
city.
baby. What's the water?
Okay.
Another one, you want some water?
I'll want some water.
Doesn't seem like there's much we can do without splitting up.
Oh, I mean, that's 3 against 4. I told you I'm taking a vote. I'll do whatever the party vote comes to, and I gave my vote.
For an awful good, that doesn't consider, it considers lime too, right?
Mine is kind of one of those gray areas where it really depends on the reason you're doing it. For example, if there are refugees hiding in the back wagon and the people who are hunting them come up to the wagon and ask you, are the refugees that were hunting in the back of the wagon? Lawful good might tell you that if this is the rightful law, technically you should turn them over. If, on the other hand, you feel that your job is to protect those people, then you should lie. That's why lawful good causes ulcers.
Well, these people are dying. So, I have a suspicion that it's not the
Okay.
Well, he actually was pretty specific. Well, there might be some ingredients in the ale that I might be able to do for basic. What's the word I'm looking for? That's out again. Like repairing with never mind, they don't know magic.
Well, if you said something like, I am a follower of deity, a god, and occasionally he blesses me with the ability to do incredible things people aren't normally able to do, and I might be able to, something like that.
Yeah.
You can go for believability if you want. And,
I'll say that.
all right, give me a persuasion roll.
Oh,
23.
So there might be something in one of these casks that you could use to change our situation.
Yes. I can't guarantee
And he
anything.
looks down the road after the other dwarf who's now quite a ways down there and everything because he's been walking all this time, and he goes, well, he's not very good at counting. He probably wouldn't even know if there was a barrel missing. We should open it just to check it. Does anyone have a
crowbar?
Sure.
I might procure one of those for you.
Bizarre. Let me check my random D&D knowledge to see what kind of a character might be traveling around with a crowbar. And the dwarf checks the internet and, oh, yes! Hey, first level rogue, I see.
Google. What's that?
Oh my god.
I'm gonna go over to Miss Kitty and take one of the packs off of her.
Okay.
Or get into one of the packs.
Okay.
Pull a small crowbar out.
Gotcha. All right, and he takes it, and the lids are kind of look like they've just been hammered down with mallets or whatever. And he gets underneath and he pops it up. He goes up to the front and he grabs a couple of dented metal cups from what looks like a mess kit or whatever, the same ones that they had when you guys were camping, were out for the night and everything. And he dips and starts passing out little cups of the ale.
So we're drinking this because it could be
Are you asking this in game or out of
Oh,
game?
sorry. No.
That's why I said you guys need to figure out like.
And I'm gonna take
I know,
my cup
I used it
and reach
for
for my
the
crowbar back.
Oh yeah, of course.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Do you have a hammer to hear that?
I think it should be gone by the time he gets back.
I'm gonna take just a little bit in my mouth and just wash it around, like turn the crowbar and spit it out on the ground.
Excellent. I need 66 for damage. No. I just-
He died.
Just to see if it even tastes like hell.
It tastes like ale,
Okay.
and you've had some bad ale, and this is
Pretty bad
pretty
out.
bad. It is alcoholic, and that's probably the best thing that you can say about it.
I'm gonna turn it
I
off.
try to, persuade him that I'm actually doing something.
Okay.
So.
You did. You got him to open up the thing. You wanted to check it out.
Yeah.
You got it. So.
No, it's like do little things, I could maybe do like a little prayer in School of the Abyssal. Say just random ass words in the Abyssal.
Okay. So you're gonna
Acting like I'm doing the prayer.
speak in a demonic language, and that's what a vessel is. Language of demons.
Well,
That's what I imagine. Right there.
sounds like some death metal.
I'll make my way.
Orcish.
Holy fucking shit!
He's like, you're a paladin?
Orcish.
And you hear the twang of the crossbow. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So you're gonna go with Orcish, and you say some stuff.
Do I need to say what I say?
No.
Okay. Do I need a roll if it's
No.
convincing?
And you're an orcish like your
What are you trying to
mother,
convince
so
him
I
of?
believe that.
You try to convince him that it should have an effect.
No, I'm just trying to see if I'm checking stuff. Like trying to contact my god.
Okay.
Do I need to roll for that?
Nope.
Okay.
I knew it. Okay, so you say some stuff in Orcish. Generally themed of, dude, we need some help.
Dude,
Right.
where's my
Got
car?
it. Okay. The birds are very pretty. You can hear them singing.
Okay.
That's it. Are you trying the ale?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I hesitate, and then yeah.
Okay.
I do a good loft.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
You regret doing that.
Great.
There are a lot of alcoholic drinks have different purposes. You know, wine is for more refined tastes, but there's some sour wine. There's, you know, ale is for, you know, celebrating and everything. This is
Yeah.
designed for getting people drunk very quickly.
You don't drink it for the taste.
Right. As quickly as you can, so that the people who are supposed to be sleeping will sleep.
But, or, to get you through the rest of this
Exactly.
trial that's already been.
Right. Now, how horrible is this place you're going to if this is what they're all looking forward to?
I drink.
Okay, good. All right, so everyone gets to try and everything like that?
Yep.
There doesn't seem to be any response to your request for assistance.
Well, I wasn't asking.
I know.
What?
I'm just letting you know, so you're not disappointed.
I'm gonna go resecure my crowbar,
Okay.
climb up with Miss Kitty, toss that shot back, and I was gonna get back and watch the party.
Okay.
Well, I'm ready to go.
Yeah, are we
Just saying.
getting back, or are we have any more business, or are we going on?
I'm just like, okay, well, I didn't get any. Well, I got a response, but well, I didn't get much of a response. And I'm like, can we seal this back up?
No, I'm going to be bored until he gets back, so I'll take care of
My bad.
It's like fist bump. They'll be popular in the future.
Well, we're gonna head towards the city and see what's going on there.
it. It's now mid-afternoon or so, so you definitely need to stop at some point for the night, because you probably will go all the way through, but. So based on his estimate, you should be there about this time tomorrow.
All right.
All right?
All right.
Are we walking?
I'm trotting. Well, my horse is walking.
Get it!
Get your horse jumps on my back.
Okay.
Where would you like us to?
And you guys decided on a specific marching order when you guys were traveling at night, but now you're traveling in the daytime.
Well, actually, now that you mention it, I guess I'm going to take the time to change back into my nicer clothes.
Okay.
I shall do the same actually. I find the clothes.
Okay, so you guys are taking off the armor.
Mhm.
Okay.
Might not be a good idea for me.
I'm saying it out
Well, you're
loud.
supposed to be my bodyguard, remember?
Mhm.
Like, that's the point of me changing is you guys are supposed to be escorting me.
Yeah, you don't have to change.
Yeah,
You're fine the way you are.
Yeah.
Until you realize you're gonna go meet somebody or whatever, and then you can say, oh, before we meet Lord so-and-so, let me freshen up, and that's when you would change. That's when I would ambush you. What did I? Michelle, really? Come on. Sounded like. Okay. All right. So this is I'm out of game there again. This is your area.
Yeah.
The grasslands and everything. This is you're the tracker. You're the so you can travel with the party. You can travel up front. You should probably determine if you think you would be better spotting stuff 50 feet in front of the party.
Okay. Yeah.
Because some of the people in the party are not especially stealthy. You got a horse and a half orc. So if something was out there, you are more likely to be able to sneak up on it or find out about it when they know you're coming. Same thing, this is not necessarily your area, but you're out in nature, and you're kind of really happy that you're not in the city anymore because it was a little claustrophobic. But there you go. And of course, you heard the magic words, which is that the halfling village is on the coast. So
Yeah.
always nice.
So, I can like it's
Okay.
Okay, so I'll scout ahead.
Okay,
I'll be in front of you guys.
good idea. Giant, do you wanna guard the rear?
It's very pretty. I shall defend it to my last breath.
Go stare at Miss Kitty's ass.
Always route behind or
All right, so Heflin starts heading out, doing his advanced scouting thing and everything. Maybe 40, 50 feet
Yeah.
or whatever to get a little sound buffer, and then he waits for you guys to form up.
I guess I'll go back about the same. I'm sure.
Are you done?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so the three of you are standing there trying to figure out.
I'm just gonna trot behind him.
Okay, so you're gonna go first,
I'm just going.
about 40, 50 feet behind him.
Yeah.
Set your pace to him. And I'm assuming the bodyguard is right behind you, and then
Why don't you walk with the horse? And if Effin acts suspicious, you would have eyes on him and you could disappear pretty quick.
Okay,
not bad.
sounds good.
Yeah,
Okay.
okay.
See what happens when you guys talk to one
That's
another?
amazing, isn't it?
It's like teamwork.
All right. And since he's 40, 50 feet ahead,
Yes.
I'm going to start mediocrely, quietly singing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright, so me has the first thing.
Yeah.
Anything in particular,
Yeah,
or
what are you?
Just I don't know songs. I'm only making them up as I go.
traveling song?
That traveling
Like a little
song.
jaunt.
Something you learned at a
Mary.
tavern somewhere?
Yep. Some things I've heard along the road.
Some sea shanty.
Something that a balloon with their legs in the air, something, I don't know. An old song.
Yeah.
All right, cool, here we go. I already wrote so everyone you watch, so you're doing your kind of standard thing. Every once in a while, he stops for a moment, he kind of kneels down, he checks something off to the road. I assume that you guys pause while he does and everything like that. So that's gonna be. You need 2 survival rolls. So you can do a 20-sided die, and then you're gonna a 20-sided die and add your survival modifier, and then do it again.
$27.
2 separate, right?
No, 2 separate rolls. Sorry.
2
A
separate.
20-sided die, and add your
I see what happened
survival, and then do a 20-sided die and add your survival.
Okay.
So the first roll was
16.
16 plus
5.
5.
Yeah.
And the second roll is
7 plus 5.
7 plus 5. Okay. So so the most obvious thing you notice is a whole bunch of tracks that you don't necessarily recognize, but they are all headed in the same direction, and that is away from that forest.
Okay.
There are some animals that you recognize right away as being native to the grasslands and everything, and there are other stuff, some hood animals and everything. Obviously, you saw the bears and stuff, but based on everything you can tell, the dwarves were accurate in saying that something was driving the animals out of that area in the forest. Animals that are not normally found on the grassland, and they're heading toward what sounds like coastline, which means they're going to be even more out of their element. You already know what happens when animals are out of their element. They become testy and aggressive sometimes. Definitely more violent. So obviously that's something that you can be on the alert for. But there's tracks from all kinds of stuff, and they're all heading in the same direction.
Okay. I'm gonna kind of, at one of these stops, I want to beckon them, to come up towards me and let them know that all these tracks are going towards the shore, and that we should probably all be very vigilant.
Do you think we should be vigilant, or do you think we should go
Be cautious.
all of them?
Do I recognize any of them?
Be neutral. Sorry.
How fresh are these tracks?
Yeah, like by like, it's also
Uh,
Lieutenant
A
and.
lot of variety, but it rained 2 days ago, so nothing's older than 2 days. So they,
Yeah, so nothing's too old.
There are lots of tracks.
From things that I recognize and
Okay.
things that I also don't recognize.
Okay.
So you see grass.
Cool. Look at this little area,
My piece
guys.
is bent over a little.
That's it. There you go. So you're looking at stuff and you see that animals have passed, but you don't know whether they're native to this area or not. He's telling you that they're not, so you kind of have to take his word for it. But you can at least tell that they all seem to be heading in the same direction, which is from the forest toward the coastline.
Gotcha.
You mentioned going towards the coast, right? Following them. That'd probably be backtracking.
It's looking like generally look the direction that, or which direction did it go?
Towards the coast.
Yeah.
Since you would have one.
Would,
I mean, I was just looking for like a point
to
in
the
which
west.
direction.
Probably to the west.
There you go.
It'd be like
We are traveling, I'll put it down in the middle of the table, just like, we are traveling from the capital, generally speaking, to the fortress here. You are traveling on a road that's roughly straight. The other road kind of headed up along the coastline. Okay, and that's where the halfling villages supposedly are. And this is the forested area down here by these hilly mountain things that they seem to be being driven out of.
All right, decisions, guys. So the general direction you point towards, you know, which way they're headed. How does the terrain look?
Well, it's not something you're used to, actually. You're used to kind of mountain sort of terrain, and you're used to mostly cities and ports and things like that. Doesn't look familiar at all. It's a variety of grasses, mostly about knee high or so, and it varies from knee to
Forehead
waist
high.
to forehead high. Yes.
All right.
So makes it's a little weird for you. I mean, they're relatively low, not a problem and everything like that.
Well, I
but
mean-
you realize what the visibility is going to be like if you guys decide to head off through these grasses.
That's what I was
I've
getting
probably
at.
seen them, but it's like a valley in the middle of the mountains. Like I've
So
seen
you know
this-
that it's relatively easy for things to be sneaky in grasses, especially if they're from this area.
Yeah.
So things are going to be able to sneak up on you way more than you're going to be able to sneak up on them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So that would be your big concern.
That's what I was getting at. Is like, how dangerous does it look just to head in that general direction?
It looks like
Yeah.
a field of grasses.
Okay.
The problem is that some, like I said, some of them are knee high, some of them are waist high, and you have absolutely no idea what could be in there.
We probably shouldn't be rough
Okay.
since we need to get this medicine.
Especially since I don't know if you mentioned the idea about the animals not being native.
Yeah, I did mention
Okay,
that.
so animals that are not native to a certain terrain tend to become more aggressive and more dangerous because they're out of their element.
Mhm.
Picture
We
dogs
don't
during
want another
fireworks.
bear incident.
Did I ever see the cubs?
Again, no, they're gone.
What cubs?
They reported back to the goddess.
All right, so I mean, you guys are the expert in this area. So we just bait your own, or
So I say we keep going towards the city.
I agree.
keep note of that.
Yeah, we should, yeah. I would definitely make note in your map that you're making of this road. And
Yeah.
that we found this and this.
In case you need to come back. So you make an estimate. All right. So despite all the tracks and everything like that, you do not see any animals crossing the road during the entire trip, and the sun is already starting to set. So you guys have been walking and everything. Really kind of odd, especially for you, that no travelers in either direction.
Well, it's getting dark though, guys. I think we should make camp the rest for the night.
I would like to.
Into the world to sit.
I would like to build a underground fortress.
Okay.
And then we.
I have a shovel.
Morton Canaan's something. I don't know what it is. There's a spell for that.
Really?
Yeah, you can basically create a little portable house.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
Morton Canaan's
something hot.
instant
Somebody's
dwelling or
somebody's
something.
something hot.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Random trivia. I'm rolling on random D&D knowledge. Hey, I rolled a 17. All right. So, you guys are stopping tonight?
Yeah,
Okay.
should we scout the area to make sure like we don't see any more track, like stop in a place where we don't see.
Yeah, I'll scout the rest.
Okay. So, while he's kind of heading off into the grass in either direction to scout, are you guys starting to set up camp, or are you waiting till he comes back?
I'd rather wait till he comes back personally.
Okay. So you do kind of a quick circle around everything like that. You pause, you stop, you look, you smell, you do everything like that, and it's pretty much what you would expect. Give me a perception roll.
15?
Okay. That's what you needed. You do notice a whole lot of wildlife that has always been native to grasslands. Butterflies, birds, small animals, and everything like that. If there was something dangerous in the area, they would probably know first, and they seem fine.
Thank you.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's relatively safe.
The cows, Joe.
The cows, oh my god, those cows.
Dude, those cows
Okay,
are
so
ridiculous.
then we come back.
So you do your circle and everything like that.
Come back.
You can report whatever
Okay.
however you want to report it.
So it looks pretty safe. There just seems to be normal animals around, butterflies, things like that. So we should probably good spot to set up camp.
I suggest we go off there a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't even know if we should have a fire tonight.
So that's the only problem, and you guys would both pick up on that right away. The only problem with going off the road and setting up a campfire is grass tends to burn. So you literally need to clear out a huge area, however long that takes, and whatever you might stir up.
I don't want a forest fire, guys. Killing a bunch more animals.
Probably.
I can throw something in there, like a chipmunk or a puppy.
Oh no.
All right, so where are you guys setting up? Yeah, on the road, off the road.
I said just off the road a
Do
little bit.
you want to do the grassland side, or like
And then grassland on
You got-
both
yeah, it's
sides.
grassland.
Grass on both sides, but you got north, which is where all the animals are heading to, or south, which has that forest that they seem to
We
be
can't
heading out
walk
of.
through the night.
Good.
Everybody get up on rest.
No, you almost died. So.
I forgot about that part. Let's rest.
Yeah, you have like one hit point.
You can
I don't think I have a roll for it.
Yeah, you need rest, dude. I say that, I mean, anywhere that has a little bit taller grass than when we lay down, we're pretty much heading hard. We just lay some bedrolls out and eat some rations. And
We lay down in the grass. I don't think much of anybody can see us.
it's getting out.
Mark, so you take somebody who's relatively good at hiding and you put them on watch for the night.
I would just
Part
be
of the
like
night.
a big imprint in the grass. Just somebody kill an ogre.
Okay, so you guys stay close to the road or slide off the road?
Slide off the
We'll
road.
slide off the road.
Which
Yeah.
direction?
But, right side of the road.
yeah, forest side.
Far side.
Far side.
Okay. And you're trying to go far enough off the road that people wouldn't spot you if you're laying down in the grass?
Right.
Is that the idea? Okay. All right, so you find a relatively good spot. Is one of the ones that you stumbled across as it is, with relatively low grasses surrounded by high grasses. So it's perfect to lay down in. Everything like that. Fires, torches,
No,
no more singing.
I'm done saying.
Oh, okay.
I guess I just want to take a watch if you're not lighting any fires or anything, so I'll just rest for the night.
Okay.
I just plopped down in the grass, just
Okay. And he's out.
Yeah, I'll wait for
And
his
you guys are
watch.
splitting the watch?
Yeah.
The two? It's close enough for all night. I mean, if you were recharging spells or something like that, here we go. All right. Woo!
Oh, no.
We're dead.
Nothing comes lurking out in the middle of the night.
No.
You do your watches just fine. You get to roll one of your hit dice to see how many hit points you get back.
No times to go real quick.
ooh, I forgot I have a 1d10
You're
now.
on D10s. So roll a D10. How many hit points you get back from your sleep?
Three.
3. There you
I
go.
actually forgot. I only have 12 hit points.
Well, really.
So make sure you add them. You went from 1 to 4. You don't have a doctor. You don't have anyone skilled in healing, and you don't have anyone who can heal you from the gods. So
I forgot I do have that, what's it called?
Can we try the healing?
yeah, the
kit
healing
again?
kit and that stabilized them. That's what it's for. That's it.
I should
They bandaged you up. You stopped bleeding.
I should probably take that.
No, it's not really useless.
Okay.
And you're gonna need a hand with him. So
Yeah.
I'd like to wake up, relatively early.
Okay.
And, before, I'd like to go out to the field and just start doing like a,
Morning meditation.
no, not necessarily, more like a, repent. That's the right word?
Okay.
Yeah, repent. And,
So you're speaking. You're communing with your God.
yeah.
Saying, dude, sorry.
Sorry, the innocent bear.
Sorry about the bear. Dude, I got freaked out. Got it. Okay. I gotcha.
I tell him that I'm sorry and I accept any punishment that he gives me.
That'll work. Okay. Bathroom break for just a second. We got folks doing smoke break. And if you need to catch on fire or anything like that, you don't need to smoke.
Do some
No.
blitz.
How was your training thing?
Oh, getting a massage?
Is that what you were doing? I thought
Yeah.
you said you
Yeah.
had a meeting or something.
Oh, yeah, I was getting a massage.
Oh, is that what it was?
Yeah.
So we were all sitting here and everything while you were.
Did he smite me yet?
Hope so.
You smite me?
No, nobody smited you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, you should. Yeah,
Just tear up his character.
Ah.
Yeah, we hired a new therapist, so, and it was my day off, so I had to go in on my day off.
And get a free
Clock in, get paid to get a massage.
That
Nice.
sounds like a pretty good except having to go on a day off. But it was fun.
There you go.
You guys get discounts on the side?
Mm-hmm. So whenever I go in regularly, like my normal massage, I have to go on my day off.
Okay.
I don't want to clock in. But in this case, I get paid. Nice.
Yeah. I haven't been
I'm super tired though.
excuse me.
The woman who was working with me in my classroom this summer, the paraprofessional assistant, she was so happy on the last day because I've done this for a lot of years and everything. And about 15 minutes before the kids even left to go on the buses, I had already had the principal sign off on all of our end of the day paperwork and approved that we could leave early.
Nice.
So everybody else stayed until the kids leave at 12. We normally leave at 12:30. We were supposed to work an extra 2 hours to get all this stuff done. So we signed out for 2:30. but we were out of there at 12:15.
Nice.
So are you done now?
So I'm driving home and I'm thinking to myself, I'm being paid to drive. And I got home and I'm like, I'm being paid to scoop out the litter box.
Yeah. Yeah, that was always kind of the fun part when I worked at Dodge, because I delivered parts. So I literally just drove all around town,
Right.
listening to music.
Not,
Yeah.
not a bad thing to get paid for.
Not really that bad.
And you don't really, you're working with professionals, not like customers,
Well-
really. I mean, not like professionals or whatever,
Yeah.
but like,
Mostly just the receptionist at the front. It was like, okay, give me this box of
Yeah,
things.
parts.
And I was like, okay.
it's not like delivering food where,
No.
you know, you have to talk to like 100 customers.
I used to do that too. That was no fun.
Yeah, we ordered from Bite Squad every once in a while. And one of the times we got this jerk. Oh my God.
Yeah, the silver truck.
That silver truck.
Most,
So I'm looking at my phone and the driver pops up. I'm like, oh, Bryce is bringing us dinner. My wife is like, why would he bring us dinner? I'm like, no, look, he's the Bite Squad driver.
That's funny.
Yeah. I remember when I first got your name, I was like, is this them? It looks like their address. But I was like,
It's
I don't know.
weird.
And then I got a text through the app. It was like, hurry up. And I was like, wow, that's kind of rude. And then I was like,
Kelly was like, oh, you got to text him. I'm like, he's driving. I don't think.
You got text.
Right, she had, yeah, right, hurry up, we're hungry, or
Yeah.
something like that.
I was like, that was rude. And then it clicked. I was like, okay, is that rude?
It's Tim, it's gonna be rude,
Yeah.
so.
I know she's so rude, Tim.
Oh. I had a couple of rude customers.
I just had one this past week. I had a really fun 35-minute phone call with somebody that like, what day was it? I think it was either Sunday or Monday. It was like the first or second call. No, I think it was the first call that I made that day for him that I picked up and like I clocked in at 10 o'clock. I never clocked in at 10 o'clock, 10:05, I picked up the phone, hung it up at like 10:40. I was like, well, I'm gonna go like walk away, like, where you go get a snack. I'm already done for the day. Like, I'm over it.
I deal with more angry people in my profession than customer service. It's ridiculous. Because people want things
People just
the next day, which is impossible. We have a crew that has to go outside and do their field work. And then the next day we draw it. You have like a minimum of 2 days turnaround on everything. And when we have guys go down to Boca for surveys, you're gonna have like a week. There's no way. I had one guy who was like, I need to talk to Matt, this is my boss. And I was like, yeah, he's not here. He's like, he's never in. And I'm like, you're
Because
right.
he's the boss.
Yeah, he's never in. And he was like, well, give me his cell phone number. I'm like, I'm not giving you my boss's cell phone.
Look, here's his address, here's the security code on his house,
Yeah.
just go wait for him.
I was like, I don't even have his cell phone number.
like, I wish I could give you that information, dude.
We just have a lot of angry parents.
Why'd you give my son a bad grade?
Give him what he earned. The kids always complain, what did he give you? I gave you work, you didn't do it. I don't know what to tell you.
Gave him a pamphlet that was empty. I received a pamphlet. It was empty.
The key that we learned a long time ago, and they teach you this at teacher school and everything like that, is you always start every conference with parents with positive. It's just a generally good way to do it, and you would be amazed at how many teachers I've worked with that, well, I like Brian, but dude, that's not a positive.
Yeah,
And
right.
slow down, you know what,
You have to like
just-
sandwich it.
just let me talk first.
Yeah.
So you
The pop-
must have stepped on a gerbil or something.
You're a gerbil.
And honestly, most of our meetings go exactly the same way, which is you and I both know that your kid is incredibly smart.
But
Your kid has all this potential and everything like that, and that's what's most frustrating.
I have that.
And every parent does exactly the same thing. They all nod their head because they have the same thing. I know my kid's special.
No.
Dude, your kid's not special, man. Your kid's not even bright. But I have to say it.
I have to
The
say
same
it.
script.
I have that conversation.
You would be amazed at how effective that is when you pull kids aside. One of my standard ones.
Like without the parent?
Yeah, when the kids do something like that, and I pull a kid aside and I go, you and I both know that you're one of the smartest people. Nod if you know what I'm talking about. And they all go, you and I know that you want to. What I need you to do is show me what we know that you can do. I need you to show me. That's all I need you to do. Take all that stuff that's going on in your head, show me paper. I don't care if it makes you not cool. Put it on paper, yell at me, call me names or whatever, throw it on the floor. I will pick it up. I will put it in the bin and give you credit for it. You do whatever you need to do, man. You just turn it to work.
I have that one too.
And it's remarkably effective.
How cruel.
well, I mean, what do you want to do? You can look at them like you're a retard. Just give me what you can.
Dude, I know you can't read and you know
Roll
you can't
for
read.
Tim's feelings.
Not 20.
Dude, we both know that you should just drop out of school. But I cannot recommend that. So just hide
I've
it.
had teachers recommend that drop out of school.
But when you turn 16, you can. There's just
No, they told me I should just drop out.
if you drop out before 16, we send social workers to your house. If you drop out after 16, we don't care. We just suspend your driver's license.
Really?
Yeah.
If you drop out
For how long?
until you're 18.
Wow.
And being, one of the people that people went to at the high school for this, there are two consequences. If you can drop out legally at 16, we will not come looking for you. However, your driver's license is automatically suspended until your 18th birthday. And if you get any checks from the state, they are automatically suspended to your house, not just to you.
Right.
Anything going to your house is automatically suspended because the assumption is if you dropped out, you are going to work. And therefore you don't, until you guys declare that money, you don't need it. So what tended to happen was these nasty, horrible kids at Fort Pierce Westwood would, fuck you and the horseman man, I'm dropping out of school, I don't need you, you punk ass bitch.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. You know what? Off you go. 3
Yeah.
weeks later,
They're right back.
right back in the
Yeah.
same getting the check.
Yeah, that's what it's gonna come down to.
Exactly.
Bet you're really sorry about all that stuff you said on your account, aren't you? Thought you'd never see me again,
Who's
huh?
the bitch now?
Hey, you know what? The quarter's only 9 weeks long, and you missed 3 weeks, which means the highest grade you can get in here is a 65.
Mhm.
How about that?
How about some out?
Assuming you get 100 on everything, you may be able to pull out a D. Unless you want to do all the makeup work, man. Do you want me to put together makeup? No, man, I don't want to do it.
That's pretty accurate.
What's up about?
Just don't
More
work,
kids
teacher.
drop
Yeah,
out.
okay, it's
We had a lot of kids dropped out when I was in high school. I think we started out with like almost 400 some students in my graduating class, and who actually graduated was under 100. Yeah. Like all my little friends or whatever, I was the only one that graduated. Stupid.
I got really upset. I could not figure out how our school's graduation rate looked as high as it did. And then I found out that if you drop out of school, they do an exit interview. You sit down with the guidance counselor. The guidance counselor says, okay, so I just got to fill this out and everything. Why are you dropping out? What are you planning on doing? And one of the questions is, are you planning on taking the GED exam once you leave? And everybody says, yes.
Mhm.
They mark it down as a graduate.
Oh,
What?
Because once you get the GED, it's the equivalent of a high school diploma.
but if they never get the GED,
Not your problem.
Nope.
So we were submitting all this fall. I'm looking at it and I'm like, how do we have this kind of graduation rate? I mean, I can count the number of people that I saw drop out.
Right.
And that alone would
Mhm.
change that number. But there you go. That's what they were doing for a while until the state caught them.
oh, how'd that go?
Not well.
They're not doing it. They're not doing
Not
it
well, we'd like our
anymore.
money back, please.
Yeah.
All the money we gave you for the great graduation race, we'd like that back.
Yeah.
Thanks very much. But we spent it. Okay, well, I guess you have to sell a kid then. All right. Okay, so here we go. So the night goes relatively uneventfully and everything. You get up in the morning, you do your communing with your deity thing. And unless you guys have something special planned, I assume that you guys eat on the road.
Mhm.
Okay. And in deference to other people who are sitting at the table, you arrive.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna roll for random encounters. So there you go. Yay, we're moving you along.
All right.
Okay, so in the distance, you see it was described as a fortress. Okay, this is supposed to be the place where the soldiers lived to defend the northern part of this realm. And you have never seen a more crappy set of buildings that probably could not hold off anything. It is barely held together. And as you get closer, you can figure out why. You see what are supposed to pass as soldiers laying around outside, they're sitting there, they're drinking, they're
Right.
carousing, they're doing a whole bunch of things. The one thing that they are not doing is what you would normally expect soldiers to be doing, like training and being on guard and everything like that. In fact, nobody challenges you on your entire approach down this road. You should be relatively easy to spot. You're walking upright in the middle of a field.
Yeah.
Nobody even seems to notice. You look up at the top at what are presumed to be battlements that normally archers would be up there, and it doesn't appear to even be manned.
Storm the gates.
So as you approach, it's relatively easy to see that it is all humans.
Okay.
This is
All right, guys, just remember,
further home, further home.
Presumably.
they ask, you're escorting me. I don't know why, but you're escorting me.
Well, you got the last ride up. If
Yeah,
you want
that's
to take
what
the
I'm
last
thinking.
15 minutes or whatever and come up
It's
with a
like,
cover
We
story.
should come up with a cover story because
See, you know your cover story better than they do because you created it. So explain to them from this point on, I am
Ron Greenleaf. I am a noble merchant, as far as anybody could ever tell. And that's the point we're at, is what are our cover story as far as being in here.
Yeah, like what goods are you bringing or what goods are you looking for?
I have no goods, I'm coming,
You're
I
looking
do know
for-
that I don't carry my goods just in case we're in bandits.
Okay.
I could be coming to inspect missing goods. I mean, inspect missing goods.
So you have to have a report of your goods being stolen.
I could do that. It's not a bad idea. We should probably pull off road and write this up.
You could be doing that. You could be coming to see if they wanted to place an order.
Yeah.
Anything like that, and then the order would follow later.
Say we should simplify this and you're coming into town to make an order.
Yeah, we could do that.
You don't have to
Yeah.
tell them that we're looking for any medicine. or-
Right, we should just leave that out and we'll probably spend the evening here and
Figure that out on our own.
figure that out on our own.
Are we going to be looking for this information? No, we're looking for Marissa, essentially, our healer. Are we asking for this information?
I would just, on the quiet and just ask around individual. I wouldn't, mention it. That's our main task here. Once again, we're coming to put order in for supplies for this shack.
So we're all on the same page.
Yep.
We all know what we're doing, walking up to, I guess, the gate. Or
So, how do you want the motion order to go? Since you're the motion.
I'd rather him be in the front and you two take back sides.
Okay, so he's up front.
No.
You're on the horse just behind, and okay.
And I won't have any weapons drawn already.
Yeah, we'll just.
I don't even have anything visible on me in my fine clothes.
Oh yeah, no, I don't know.
Okay. All right. So there's a bunch of them kind of lounging out by what you're guessing is the main gate. In fact, as you're walking up, you're not even sure there is a gate attached to the big hole in the wall. And they're all just sort of looking, sitting there watching you approach. And as you get a little bit closer, every once in a while, out of the corner of your eye, you see a little bit of movement as soldiers check to make sure that their swords are not going to stick in their scabbards. They wiggle them a little bit and make sure that if they need to draw them, they can take them out quickly. Man steps out from the doorway and just sort of looks gradually, sort of stretches and reaches back behind the door. And when his arm comes back out, he has a bow.
It's probably the closest man to us at this point.
There's a bunch out there and everything that he's in the back. He's in the
Okay.
doorway, and there are a couple that are just sort of sitting there on the road.
Is there any of them that look more competent than the other ones?
There are some that reacted faster as you rode up.
Fair enough. I'm just going to go and
Okay.
explain who do I need to talk to place an order for your supplies.
I don't know. What the hell do you want?
Give you supplies.
We don't do business with your kind.
Well, all right, if you don't want all the ale that we have back at the home landing, then you don't have to have the ale.
We've got ale coming.
No, they died. We passed them on the road this way.
So why didn't you bring it with you?
Because it's gone. Barrels were busted and I was gone.
See. Well, that's disappointing. Go get Brightwood. And nobody moves.
Just point me in the direction, I'll go find Brightwood.
Where the hell is Brightwood? He hasn't come back from the halfling camp.
All right. So he went to the halfling camp?
Yes. If I say yes, does that mean you'll go?
If I have to. Has anybody else headed that way?
I doubt it.
Nobody goes that way or something?
No, apparently Brightwood headed out with a small group and they haven't come back yet.
Okay.
You can wait for them.
The hell do they want the halfling camp?
I don't see how that's any business of yours.
Well, I mean, I'd like to go see what I'm getting into. If I'm going there, if there is a war going on, I don't want to walk into a war.
War? What makes you think there's a war?
Well, he gonna
One-
fail.
And one by one, the soldiers make their way to their feet. One or two slip out from the building. And now the count is up to 9.
All right,
Now, who said anything about a war?
you dead. Listen, nonetheless, all right, so he went to the stupid halfling village.
How long
This-
ago?
This night's getting longer and longer and longer.
Right when did he leave? Yesterday, I think. Well, you don't know either. I'd say yesterday,
Yesterday,
maybe the day before.
a week before.
Could be.
Okay, that's what I needed to know. So, which general direction do I need to go to this halfling?
Well, if you head down this way, and he's pointing in the general direction of where you guys think the beach is with it. If you come out this side of our little camp here, you'll find another road, not as well used as the one you came in on, and that should take you down the coastline to the halfling villages. Not sure which one Brightwood wound up in. But if you have something worth selling, he's the only one that would buy it from someone like you.
Well, I have to sell it.
Well, good luck then.
Oh, thank you, sir. Would you guys at least take our coin when we buy a drink?
But we just said the drinks are abandoned on the road, so there's not
You
really
said
much
you
to-
had plenty of ale, though. Oh, no. That's a shame.
Cameron makes recording. Cameron makes recording.
Fine.
Or we can wait for a shipment from Worthing.
Okay.
Make an insight roll.
Yeah.
Everyone.
I'll notice what happened. Oh, that's a little one. I'll need it too. 18.
Okay, 14.
12.
There you go.
I don't know like which general direction he pointed when he said that.
Yeah, that continuing on the road the way that you were headed. So wherever you are not at Worthing.
Right, that's what it seems like. All right. Fine.
How far is Furthing home?
Worthing home's another day down the road or so. But if you have anything to deal with them, that's what we're here for.
What does that mean?
If you have any business with them, we can take care of it here.
It's just a checkpoint.
No.
So I don't have the proper terminology for it. But
It's a sun pass.
Oh, you have the easy pass. Go down right down the road. It's only an hour or so.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you have to wait on this line and pay its all.
Carpool.
Exact change only.
In the carpool lane.
And the carpool lane.
all right, let's head to the halfling villages then. I'm kind of try to secretly get a smuggle look.
And if you happen to run into our group that left, yes, 2 days ago, whenever they left,
Last week.
yes, if you happen to run into others that are dressed like us, could you please let them know that they're overdue to be back?
I could do that. What was your name so I can tell them?
Yes.
Your name is Jess?
Anderson.
Anderson, that's right. Anderson. Well, thank you, Anderson. I think we should be on our way now.
Excellent. I think it's an excellent idea.
All right. And we'll start heading towards the halfling village.
Okay. So you guys are basically almost a U-turn kind
Right,
of thing,
that's
and
what
now
I-
you're heading back at an angle, often a diagonal from the way that you came.
So, like, as I'm peeking around, obviously we take the left-ish, which would be
Yep.
like northwest-ish.
Yes.
And we exit this keep, this rundown keep. Can I see the road that curves towards?
Yep. Yeah, that main road goes right past this thing. Actually, it might even go through it because it just seems like it continues out the other side.
Right.
So you're guessing that there's a reason why there's no gate here. It's just basically a big archway.
Right.
And based on what you know about castles and keeps and everything like that, you don't blame them for being cranky for being stationed here. Because there's nothing.
So am I beyond, are we beyond the gateway, the non-gate gateway?
Yep.
Okay. So if we need to continue to furthermore, whatever that was.
So you can continue on to Farthingholm, or you can go the way that they suggested to find Brightwood out in the Halfling Villages, which is kind of back the way you came, but
I'd rather go to
I'll put
halfling
that.
villages at this point. Because it sounds like Marissa might have been part of that party.
Could have been if she.
But however, if we need to go to Furthingholm, we are going to cut out this triangle and not head back into this place because they know we're going to be lying here in a couple days.
Heard.
so you turn and you guys are heading down toward the coastline. Okay,
Is everybody good with that?
all right. So you guys head away and everything. If you guys want to have a conversation now that you're out of earshot, you can do that.
That was a shithole. let's try our best not to ever have to step foot back there again. We'll go around it.
So we're keeping an eye out for this Brightwood and Marissa.
And what was his name?
Brightwood.
Right.
And probably should have gotten the name of the base. I guess base.
That's the shithole.
Yeah,
However,
it's
I
just a
wish,
forward, it's a waypoint, there's a crossroads here, so they put something there to guard the crossroads, even though there doesn't appear to be anything to guard.
I wish I would have got Wrightwood's race. I'm assuming he's human.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna assume he's human though.
Or rather open-minded human, since he
Or,
was the only one that would buy anything from us.
or a desperate one.
Mm.
Maybe a little bit of both.
All right, so if no one's doing anything special, you guys in the same marching orders before?
Well, we'll be approaching up to the coast.
Yeah, the grasslands are starting to even out or whatever. You can start to smell the air from the water, though you can't actually see the coastline yet. But you can feel that cool breeze coming in your face.
Point.
That's whenever we need me to. I guess I'll probably head up front.
Switch.
Yeah.
Okay.
And at this point, if we're past those stupid humans, then I'm gonna start putting my armor back on. I don't feel like I really have to trick anybody from this point on.
Okay, that's fair. All right. So you're up front, kind of doing the scouting thing and everything like that. Give me a perception roll.
You just gonna take the keep an eye out for those humans trying to track us. That's probably a good idea.
Okay. So you are unfortunately close before you notice that there appears to be a body lying in the road.
What can I tell what kind of body, what race?
You cannot.
I'm close enough. Is it dead? Can I? Okay,
I just gave you advance notice. You went, oh, look, a body.
okay. You guys, or how far am I about 50
You
feet
can
up?
probably scout about 40 feet up or whatever, because otherwise you can't be as stealthy with the horse and the network.
So I guess
That's the problem with the folks who can see in the dark. You need to be far away from the torch for that to be effective. For the people who are stealthy, naturally, you got to be away from things that make noise to be stealthy. So
I guess I'll hold and look back to them and
I'm gonna hold up Miss Kitty at this point.
and make them aware. Like, hey guys, there's a body here.
Okay, so just like yell it back at us.
No.
she uses the international hand signs for a dead body in the road.
I guess I'll like, before alerting them, can I guess like
Yeah.
look around the area, see if there's anything else. Would that be a perception roll?
Roll
or-
for necrophilia.
Natural 20.
15.
Okay. So as near as you can tell, there isn't anything really out of place. There's the little scurrying things that you would expect to see, and
And the only thing out of place is this dead body in front of me.
Too much.
Okay, so I guess I'll walk back to the party
okay.
before alerting them. Hey, up ahead.
Hey guys, be careful! There's a dead body up here. There may be somebody waiting in the bushes.
Okay, so there's a dead body.
Never mind. All right, go ahead. So you go back to them.
Yeah. Hey guys. So I couldn't really tell what it was. So,
Poke it with a stick.
no, I did not.
How do you know it's dead though?
So,
Stick it with the needle.
is this something that,
Evan, do you want to go check it out with her?
Yeah, we can
that
check
you're
it out.
gonna,
Should I walk
Since you
with
two,
them?
well, the reason I chose him is because he's extra quiet too. We don't know what's up there.
Yeah, but whatever it is gonna see them coming before they see him or it or whatever.
That's why they're stealthy.
anyway, so you wanna go further
Just
and
be
inspect
ready.
this? I mean, this could be the
Like watch them
thing
horses they start running
This
back
could
that
be
way and we start
play
running back
that-
that way.
is killing this halfling village, and killing the creatures that are in my village.
Kind of look at it from far away.
Can we see it from this point? Yeah.
Your guess is that it is one of the soldiers from the group that you saw before. The outfit looks relatively similar.
Did you happen to get a description of what Brightwood looked like?
Nope.
No. We just are just looking for one of the dudes that looks like.
Nope.
This might be Brightwood.
Okay.
Maybe.
I guess at this point we'll dismount and does he look diseased or anything? I can tell. Like, no,
How close are you getting?
I'm gonna
Okay.
walk up to him.
Is everyone kind of walking like you?
I put on a hazmat suit.
Good. Where are you storing that in your inventory? Just show me. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right
Well.
there. How's that?
I
Alright.
can't turn my character around, but
I got
was worried about that.
I pull it out of my ass. All right. So, you guys are about 20 feet away when you can smell it because the breeze is coming from behind, from the ocean and everything like that. It is very definitely the smell of rotting flesh.
So it's
You're gonna make a guess, however, that since they said that Brightwood and whoever he went with left yesterday or the day before,
Well, guys, it's
that
pretty odd.
whatever this is did not have enough time to die and rot.
Well, guys, it's pretty weird that there's no like ocean animals. Such as like that's
As
common
you guys
knowledge.
as you guys are sliding closer, is there anything specific that you're looking for?
So I'm looking for, I mean, I know you said it's rotting flesh and stuff, but I'm looking for any, because I've probably seen some dead people in the city. Like anything weird with the skin or anything just looks off with the dead guy.
The guy is face down on the ground, and as you get closer, you can see that there are bits of skin on his face that appear to be falling off. His hands, almost as if he was crawling on the ground, are covered in boils.
Mhm.
And there is a swarm of flies as you get closer. Over him, crawling on him.
There went my search account. That's out the window.
You're welcome to try.
Well, I mean,
I don't want to go yet, but I don't see any reason to deal with this except for move on. You know, we
I'm
can't
alright.
interrogate it for any information.
Oh, I guess. Did I see any like big sticks or branches or anything laying around?
well, my battle axe.
Hmm.
My battle axe.
You don't want to touch them with your battle axe.
Little disease of the people that I hit.
I mean, I have a quarterstaff,
There-
but I don't. Really
Yeah, there isn't much around here.
Okay. I was just going to try to flip them over, but I'm
Look
done.
for stuff to steal.
I'm afraid to touch them, so that's out of the question. Did you guys see any like weird tracks or anything around?
I can look.
Go for it. We'll do a survival roll. If you're looking for anything out of the ordinary.
12.
9.
Okay. So there is nothing. So not even animal tracks. So whatever came across that other road doesn't appear to have crossed here to go down to the beach. The other thing you notice about the grasses around here and everything like that is there's no sign of fighting or combat.
It just looks like the guy just dropped.
Just looks like he collapsed face down. His hands are out in front of him. So maybe he was on his hands and knees. Maybe he was crawling, whatever it might be.
The Romans did it.
The 300.
You guys get the whole Roman thing. Catapult dead bodies.
With disease.
Was that a thing?
Nothing.
That was a thing that they did?
That was the thing.
Because why not?
Because of black.
Because why not?
Because of plague.
It's where we got the idea for selling blankets to the Indians that had measles and stuff like
Really? You want or something?
The more you know. All right. Oh, well, yep, I'm good with not having anything to do with this guy.
Yeah.
No, no, no.
Well,
We'll just make note of it, that it's here, and
I'll search the first dead rotting body, and you guys search the next one.
Yeah.
what time of day?
It is coming up on evening, so you probably have another hour or two of light if you want to keep marching.
we should get a little farther away from
Rotting
the
body.
rock.
Before we leave, I just do a little bit of a prayer. Not gonna touch it,
Okay.
but I just kind of like,
Yeah,
you
because
know, try to
you didn't
aim
get
for
your
the eyes
immunity
with
yet.
coins.
That's fourth level.
Yeah, something like that.
Fourth level paladins become.
If you get, I'll figure.
Yep.
Wait, are you
Protect-
serious?
Yeah, your god protects us from all disease. You're partly healer, so the god goes, look, if you're gonna run in and heal people, when
You getting sick?
you can't get people sick, so you become immune to all disease.
Yeah, sure.
It's a really cool little paladin trick. All right,
Turns into a
so you
shot.
guys are kind of circling around.
Yeah.
All right. So you continue on down the road. The smell stays with you for a little while, which is generally unpleasant. And gradually the land turns from grassland into coastline looking things. You start to see rocks. You can hear the waves crashing against rocks in the distance, and suddenly you feel lighter.
Oh,
Yeah.
I've been aware.
And within an hour or so, you see the outskirts of a small village. It's literally small.
Not figuratively.
The buildings are very low. But it doesn't look like it doesn't look like it's an incredibly big place.
It's about normal size.
You can see about normal size for you guys. You can see the docks from here, and there appear to be some small craft, local craft. Nothing, no shipping or anything like that. But maybe some small fishing boats. You can hear the ropes slapping against the boats and the dock in the wind. And there is surprisingly little activity in the town as you approach.
Like how much light do we see any lights or anything?
There are no lights yet. The sun's still.
Oh, okay.
The sun is just barely starting to set as you approach the village.
How does it smell?
Not as bad as you would think.
Okay.
Not like that.
If anything, the smoke, the scents that you're picking up on are smoke and seawater,
Okay.
Alright, so I take
and maybe a
cloth.
little fish.
Okay.
I take cloth as well as I can. Try to make like a mask thing
Okay.
to filter.
Okay.
I just share with you guys. I'd probably have somewhat, but the disease get burned.
Interesting.
So there's an interesting comment. Yeah, if there had been diseased bodies, they would have burned them, and maybe that's where the small smoke is coming. You just have to hope that the fire kills everything, otherwise it's in the smoke.
That's why.
That's why we
Piece of
did
cloth.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't have fibulars.
All right, so you can see a couple of figures in what you're guessing is the town square. You're going to be generous and call it the town square.
Okay.
Okay. It looks like there's. All right, so I'll just move you along and everything like that. There are a number of halflings here. Some of them are laying on the ground. One or two of them appear to be standing or moving water back and forth. There is a human dressed in robes, for want of a better term, the traditional garb of a healer, whatever, who appears to be tending to one of the halflings who's on the ground. And there is an elf, female elf, who is standing next to him, handing him supplies.
Him
Oh.
The healer.
Who mean healer in robes?
is a him.
It is a him.
I think
The healer.
we should probably approach them. You know, the people that we actually see.
Yeah, let's go
Yeah.
approach them and we should ask if one of them is nurse.
That would be a good idea. All right, I guess we all agree we're gonna approach.
Okay.
I guess I'll get off Miss Kitty and walk Miss Kitty at this point.
There you go.
A little less intimidating.
So the healer is human, male. You're gonna guess he's in his late 30s, but something has aged this man horribly. His hair is prematurely white, and he is working feverishly to try and save this little halfling on the ground with supplies that even you think are pathetic.
Huh.
So it doesn't look like he very much knows what he's doing.
It looks like he's trying.
Or trying.
Oh, and there's an elf standing next to him.
I guess as I'm approaching, I am going to just
I can't say that.
disclaim, hey there, hey guys, to the party.
Oh.
Okay, so you say, hey there,
Hey there.
and he turns to you and goes, talk to them, find out what they want.
Oh, the robes guy says, oh, well, I blow them
he's the
off.
guy from your history, so.
I blow them off at first.
Okay.
I guess I'll approach. Say, are you Marissa?
How would you know that?
We were sent by Knock. Found you to give you assistance.
but
Do you know?
I
you-
don't know Knock though.
You don't. You
Okay.
just know the one guy who found you and spoke to you about him. So
Okay.
this is the second time you're hearing it. It's a really weird coincidence, but
Mhm.
if the one guy sent you on a quest and then he sent other people to help you, sounds legitimate, assuming that they're
Mhm.
actually who they say that they are.
Okay.
So
Gotcha.
I'll introduce myself. So
Okay.
my name is Yoni, and
and she looks like that.
Mhm.
I look like this. I'm Yoni Tallfellow,
Mhm.
and then about you're looking at me,
Mhm.
and
So the first thing you notice is they're coming from the direction that the humans normally come from,
Mhm.
that the human troops came from, but none of them are. You got this really tall, almost animal-looking guy dressed like a knight, which is a little weird, but there you go. And you have two halflings, except they're not from these poor villages. They're not fishermen or anything like that, which is all you've seen so far in this village. They appear to be dressed relatively nicely, wearing armor and weapons and all that kind of stuff.
I have this.
One of your people.
Yeah,
And,
yeah, I'm also an elf.
Okay.
and another elf.
I just want to ask at this point, like, what exactly were you sent here to heal? Have you found any information about what these people are dying from?
We don't know exactly what it is or how to treat it, but we're doing the best that we can.
That's all you know.
Mhm.
But here's the little bit that we know, says the guy on the ground. He doesn't he doesn't seem especially happy that you guys are there or that you offer to help. Apparently some disease is running rampant here and there's some medicine somewhere. The humans think the halflings have it, the halflings think the humans have it. It sounds to me like it's something that the halflings figured out how to make. And every time they make some of it, the human troops come down from that stupid little camp and take it from them and leave the halflings here to die. They sent a group from that place and with orders to do the same thing and take all the medicine that this town had left, and they have nothing. What they have are dying halflings.
That's why we were sent here, to find the medicine.
Well, I wish you the very best of luck. The soldiers that came with me moved on down the beach there to the next halfling village where supposedly they're making some more of this stuff.
And what's the name of this village?
I don't even think they have names. They're just little fishing communities, fishing villages. These people just want to live their lives.
Do you know the name of any of the humans?
The ones that are traveling that way, there's
There's a bunch of them. That the funny looking guy and the one with the limp. And I don't know. They change over so frequently. Who the hell cares what their name is? They're down the road killing halflings to take their medicine.
Sounds like we should put a stop to that, guys.
Mm,
We were sent here for the medicine.
well, it sounds like we should probably go after these soldiers.
Wait a
Could be-
moment. What?
We're pausing.
Pausing, we're
We're
waiting.
waiting a moment.
Oh, okay, sorry.
Jeopardy music's playing.
Yeah.
So some of that stuff he
There we
he was
go,
here. When you
guys.
showed up, he was there trying to kill halflings,
Oh.
and you jumped in to try and
So the
help him and
halfling-
everything like that. And that's the first that you're hearing about the medicine.
The halfling.
Okay.
that's
You
in
knew that
there.
those troops, remember from your history, you watched the troops
Right.
take off, and you knew that he stayed to do something that they didn't want any part of.
Mhm.
And now you're finding out that they left because they were doing something that he didn't want any part of.
The halfling that's on the ground. How bad is she?
The condition is starting to look like the body that you saw on the road. There are boils on the skin. She's breathing very heavily,
Is she?
and there are flies circling the body. It is a she.
Can I tell if she's a child or adult?
She is probably 20 something.
Alright.
In fact, she's old enough to possibly have children here in the village somewhere.
Okay, yeah. I'll use lay on hands on her.
Okay.
Don't touch her.
Oh, I didn't think about
No,
that. Wait a
no,
minute.
No, you
no.
touched it.
You touched the dying girl. There's a funny I'm gonna grab hold of the dying chick. It's great that that's your first instinct and everything, but
That wasn't smart.
No, yep, you're doing good, bud.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Hold on. There's no way I can not touch her.
right.
There's no way I can't not.
Go with your first instinct, man.
Let's do it, dude.
It's not just hit points. You can cure disease with lay on hands.
Yeah, I know.
So
All right.
So, is there any part that?
Just gonna like.
I'd like to cure you, but you're gross.
This is Doctor of Gloves on.
I shall poke your boils.
This is Doctor of Gloves on. Or the healer.
No.
I'm gonna take my piece of cloth and hand it to you.
Okay, thank you. And I do lay on hands with the cloth.
Go for it. Okay. So her breathing eases. And the man who's working on her looks at you and says, "What did you do?"
I fixed her.
All right. Well, we have about 20 or 30 others. Perhaps you could help with those.
See, I can only use that once a day.
Yeah. Okay.
Let me explain it to him. You got a friendship power.
Yeah, explain how you did that, because he's obviously never seen that before.
Easy healer.
I am a warrior sent from the god Tempest, and I have been sent to help and fulfill his word. And this is one of the powers that he has given me. But I can only use it every so often.
So if you stay, you can cure the most desperate cases in the village just by touching them?
Yeah, once per day.
I see. Well, then I suppose it's up to you whether you wish to stay and help or continue on to go see if you can. There's enough of you that you might be able to get that medicine from the troops before they can bring it back to
When-
cure any humans that might get sick.
when the troops come back through, do they come back through this village up the back to same road? I
If
should
they
say?
stay on the road, sometimes they veer off the road and take advantage of some of the halflings out in the fields. And
Which,
some of them were working on the boats.
how long ago did they come through?
Well, they've only been gone a few hours. When they found out that there was no medicine here, we sent one man back through, back toward the tower.
Yeah, he's dead. He's rotting.
Yeah, he died.
Oh, well, that makes me incredibly happy.
Good. Damn humans.
Do you know whether medicine can be contracted through livestock?
I really don't know. I suspect that the halflings are making it, and the humans seem to get, well, the halflings here get it from the next village over. But I don't think that they know where it comes from.
No, I mean, can you be infected by livestock and you?
I don't know. We've only
Cases.
been working here for a few hours or so, maybe a day or two. We haven't really had a chance to study it.
So the nature of the disease and how it's contracted is unknown.
Right.
Okay.
Well,
Sounds like we need to go down.
Leaves us very little choice, doesn't it?
Medicine, yeah.
we need to go find that medicine. And sadly, I have to inform you that I have to go with them.
Very well.
But if we do get this medicine, we can help much more.
That would be greatly appreciated. I would be in your debt.
I think that if we get this medicine, we should stay the night here, so you can do this again tomorrow morning for a more desperate case.
Do you have a healer among your party?
This is the closest healer as we have,
Once per day.
once per day.
Excellent. Well, I can't speak for you, Marissa, but perhaps you'd mind accompanying them to the next village and see what the state of the medicine there is. I know you have some skill with herbalism, and maybe you can identify where this medicine comes from and bring it back.
My skills probably would be more beneficial to this group, so I will go along with them.
Excellent. I'll stay and save the ones I can.
Have you had any success saving them without the medicine?
Some. While you guys are standing there, give me a perception roll.
Oh, Nat,
Nat 20!
Nat 30.
Did you say perception?
Yeah.
9.
9.
I got a whole
Oh, 18.
18. Okay.
5.
So you're looking at bodies and everything like
Butterfly.
that, and focusing on, turning around, looking, because behind you is grassland, and it's nice and everything like that. The other three of you notice that every time that he starts talking about, and this is something that you've noticed also, every time he starts talking about people dying and not being able to help them and everything like that, every single time he reaches down and there's something under the hem of his robe that he seems to be playing with. Every once in a while you catch a slight glint of something or whatever, whether it's metallic or it's definitely got a color to it. It's definitely something shiny. Okay? And he kind of reaches under the robe and plays with it a little bit, and then when he realizes he's doing it, he stops.
How strong does this man look?
It's tough because of the big robe and everything, but you're gonna guess this is probably based on the way he moves. He's probably hasn't been a healer all his life. This guy's got some bulk to him, and you would probably not want to fight him hand to hand.
He's keeping it up.
He is.
I want to use intimidation and say, what's under your robe?
Okay.
And I want to put my hand on my battle axe.
Okay. Under the sleeve?
Yes.
Oh, very simple. And he pulls back the sleeve and everything. It's a string of beads, little bits of metal. Hang on.
It's got a picture. It must be important.
Looks like that.
What's it for?
Well, it's like a talisman of some sort, right? Yeah, okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry if I annoyed you.
Okay.
So the half orc went into intimidation stance and goes, "What's that under your robe?" And the guy goes, "This? It's just a set of prayer beads."
See, my plan was I was going to try to pull you guys in a huddle, and hopefully you guys told me you noticed it, because I didn't notice it. And I was going to ask you which wrist was it on. I was going to reach out, shake his hand, and grab his robe at the same time, and accidentally pull his robe back.
Yeah, if he didn't know to look for it, you probably could have. You would have had a good shot at pickpocket.
I wouldn't want to be touching his hands after he touched the diseased.
It's true.
What's the worst will happen? I'll die.
Mine was what's under your robe. Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't scare him too much.
Now,
Hopefully.
Are we walking towards the town? Oh, I guess not, because we're still talking.
all right, we're talking to you. So everybody got to see that now that he made a big show of it.
And he didn't seem like
Upset?
to show you or anything like that. He was just like, "Oh, you're curious? Yeah, there you go."
All right. That symbol that's on it, I'm gonna in a moment as soon as I get back, I'm going to
Go to
take
Google.
a piece of parchment and draw that symbol on it. I'm just going to jot down what it was.
Okay.
Okay.
Everyone got a pretty good look at it. Give me a roll against religion. Nope, nobody took it, so
All right.
I don't think anyone took
I
it.
got 7.
Where would that be?
Just go.
It's an
And
intelligence skill,
I should have higher on religion, but
but almost nobody.
oh,
16.
Okay,
19.
all right.
I want to kind of slide over to Marissa. So, how long have you been here?
It is one of the symbols
Few
used
days.
by.
Do you know him before this?
No.
Oh.
That's interesting.
Okay.
How did you come to meet him?
Is that related?
But you tell me, or do you not?
You
I
can
don't
do whatever you
tell
want with
you.
the information.
Okay, that's really what it comes down to.
Do I know any background about
like-
this?
Apprehensive
Not
about
I'm
you
religion
guys.
isn't really your
I'll
area
be
of
fine with
expertise,
that.
but you know
That's on how to play it.
Yeah.
him.
Oh,
You know that that's what he's the god of. Kind of weird that he should be here doing what he's doing, but
okay.
We're ready to go to the next town?
I'm good to go.
We're following that party or that group of soldiers that went on to the next town
Yeah,
to
we're
find the
heading down to
medicine.
the next village.
Are you taking
You
Marissa with
prepared
us?
to,
Yeah, I'm joining.
Okay.
once we get away from the hill, I was like, guys, prepared to, things to go for the ugly real quick.
So I'm assuming we're away from them now.
yep, and the sun is setting.
The symbol that was on that bracelet was the god of the
What?
Got what?
dead. So
Oh, okay.
Thought we were supposed to spend the night.
We're talking about after we
after we get the
get
medicine.
Oh,
because we can't wait. They probably are not going to wait around and sleep there with the medicine.
So as you're walking and the sun is setting this out and everything like that, you're seeing parts that you haven't seen before. Along the beach, there are some abandoned fishing boats pulled up onto the beaches, everything. You know from your experience that sunset and sunrise is when most fishermen go out. So the fact that nobody's taking these boats out is probably a really bad sign.
Maybe that most of the people who would be taking them out are dead.
Right.
Or should I have to roll insight for that?
No, I think it's a pretty safe assumption.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I mean, there doesn't appear to be a whole lot of agriculture around here, and people who live by the shoreline, you know, going out fishing is one of their primary sources of food.
Yeah.
So if nobody's going out to get this stuff, then there must be something more important going on.
Sorry, what was this in relation to?
What was that?
Just noticing that?
Yep.
Yeah, okay.
Well, everybody noticed the boats, but you grew up on at the shorelines and everything, and you have a better idea of like how people live there. So.
Okay.
Are you guys stopping for the night, or are you guys walking all the way through to the next half of the village?
I think we should press, press. I mean,
Oh,
Go.
keep going.
because I really feel like
They're not gonna
they're
stop.
not gonna stop once they get medicine.
Okay.
If we have a dying half-orc like this.
That is true.
That's true.
Oh, I did. You gave me the ball.
Marissa,
Yeah.
didn't he say you were a healer?
Yes.
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 You,
I have the ability to cast spells, so it's with the healing of people, I think.
sometimes.
I think that was
You-
one of
you
them.
al-
I have a mending spell.
You
I
also, yeah, I don't think you need to mend it.
have that. No,
You,
but
you also speak to a god, and on occasion, the god gives you the ability
cure wounds,
to
yeah.
heal people's diseases.
Yeah, okay.
So it's not so much a spell as a prayer.
Oh, spells.
So, like,
okay.
saying,
That's what I was doing.
Cantrips and
Probably a little
spells.
more.
Okay.
You got it.
What today?
Say again?
What today?
For her? No.
Every once in a while.
She can use.
I can do
She's
it.
a-
I can
she's
do
a
it.
spellcaster,
I
so-
can do it instantly. That's easier.
So, like I said, I was like, we should.
So
we
you've
should-
got 2 per day, I believe. Anything that you've prepared for the deck. So the ones that,
Right,
if
you
you
told me that I have
kept,
to
yeah,
prepare
if you
things.
kept the ones that I marked, then of those 6, you can cast anyone you'd like, and then anyone you'd like, and then you need to rest.
you get
Okay.
two
You get 2,
uses.
which is one of the reasons why you still have them available. As long as there was some way of saving each of the halflings, that was fine. It's when they got critical that you would use something like that.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Okay.
So may I ask you, what do you follow? A god?
Yes, I follow the god of birth, renewal, Lathander.
With what?
Birth and renewal.
Oh.
Lathander.
Lathander's symbol is a road leading into the sunrise or sunset, depending on how you look at it. That's a big famous one, so everyone would know that. You wouldn't need to roll for it.
All right, I'm just going to go ahead and make it clear that we're probably going to get battle coming up. And you need to take it easy, you're hurt pretty bad already. So we can't really afford to rest too much unless
You can see, by the way, that he's
In
pretty
rough
badly
shape.
torn up. He's got blood stains on his
Mhm.
shoulder and everything, and it looks like somebody tried to patch him up,
Mhm.
but
they did.
Yeah.
they got him, and he's essentially the walking wounded. They got him
Okay.
patched up and everything, and he's walking. But would you like some help?
Okay, so I take notice of his injuries and probably heal over cure, right?
The one you'd want is cure wounds.
Cure ones.
The
Okay.
healing word one is fewer points, but it's a verbal spell, meaning you don't need to do anything else. It's like in the middle of battle, you're about to fall, and no, you're not.
Okay.
So it doesn't provide as many hit points back, but
Mhm.
cure wounds is one of those. I say a quick prayer over the person for a minute, and they get points back.
That one's, like you said, heat a bell, you can cast that 60 feet away. And this one you have to touch the person.
Action.
Do you want to try and fix him up a little bit?
Yeah, I suppose
Okay.
I will. No, just making a face because it's Ethan, just to be mean.
No, I know.
That's why I was like, right?
Okay, so. Yeah,
So are you gonna, so she comes over to you and she goes, I don't know how you would approach it. You're the healer,
Okay,
may I, or
so.
you gotta touch him, otherwise it won't work. So,
Right.
but generally speaking, he looks like a big
Touch me.
nasty fighter, so you probably want to ask permission first.
Right.
Always get consent.
Yeah. I see that you're injured. I'm able to assist you if you would like it.
I would like it.
Okay. So I'm gonna place my hands on the side of his head over his ears and feel the
Okay.
yeah.
So the spell is 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier.
Okay. One.
And then
The
your
same, right?
God grants you another 2.
That one. Okay.
So it'll be 1d8 plus your wisdom modifier plus 2 more.
Okay.
And wisdom would be
Right. Okay.
Here,
So
and
3, 7, and then
Plus
wisdom,
2.
And then 2 more.
So 9.
9 points.
so you're back.
I'm at 12.
It's like warm honey running through your body. It's so totally different than what you do. When you do the lay on hands thing and everything like that, when you do it, it feels like you're using part of your own strength to do it. When she did it, it almost feels like your body is knitting itself back together.
Oh, yeah.
It's like it didn't know how to heal itself until she touched you. And suddenly your body was like, oh, that's easy. It's like she's teaching it how to fix itself. So are you at full now?
Yeah.
There you go.
There you go. That's pretty cool.
Cool. Somebody was smart. Send you guys a class.
All right. So we're marching then.
Marching.
All right. How do you guys feel about time?
Yeah, it's already 9 o'clock.
All right. So we're coming up to a break point.
I think so.
Okay.
Mhm.
All right. I got. There were 2. Again, there were 2 really good ones coming up. So I just want to know near or far. Okay. All right. So you guys walk for another hour and a half or so. It's getting a little bit tough because now that the sun is down, there's a crescent moon out, which is not a lot of light to work from, but fortunately it's bouncing off the water and providing a little
Well,
bit
I
of extra
can
light.
see.
Those of you who can see in the dark are doing just fine. Those of you who can't see in the dark are following along behind the people who can. But fortunately, this is your natural environment. You kind of know what to look out for and what not to look out for. And relatively quickly, you come up on, after about an hour and a half or so, you come up on another halfling village. This one is obviously bigger and better put together. There are a number of houses around, and you can see lights, torches and such. Not a lot of them, not nearly as many as you think should be burning in a village this size. But there are at least some burning.
That's hopeful.
Maybe I should walk in front. And
All right. Yeah.
I keep my shield at ready.
Okay, so you're in front,
I'm
shield,
ready to come along
weapons?
with this.
Shield
just shield?
ready. I don't want to be too threatening, so I'm gonna keep it like, just sort of.
So you got the weapon
ready,
out,
yeah.
but at your side?
Yeah.
Or
No,
just
no,
have
no.
your hand near it?
Are you like walking like that?
I gotcha.
No, I'm not walking like that.
I gotcha. All right, so you are kind of prepared for whatever near. So you're in front.
Yeah.
Who's up second?
I'll take a second.
All right.
I'm on just off to the side at home. Just keep my hand on my rapier.
Okay.
I'll take the.
Yeah, I'll take them.
Okay. And you got 5 now.
Just keep it,
Oh,
Yeah.
keep it all
So
safe.
I guess I'll stay in the middle. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
Keep it all
security.
safe.
Yeah.
so then her, then me, then
Mhm.
we'll be
Okay. So as you get closer and everything like that, you realize that there is something burning on the other side of the village. You thought it was a torch, but as you get
Bash.
closer and closer, it appears to be more like a bonfire
Mask.
kind of thing.
How
And-
big?
About the size of the table.
Is it in any kind of pit?
Not that you can see yet. It looks like it's on the other side of whatever would pass for a town square.
Okay.
So you're coming in one side and it's way on the other side. And as you approach the first couple of buildings, you hear somebody yell, "They're coming back!" And along the tops of the buildings are archers. Guess between 8 and 10. And then coming out from between the building are halflings. Spears, sticks.
I take my shield and put it down. We come in peace.
I guess both me and we should maybe walk forward and let them know that we're not humans, that we're also halflings.
Okay.
Or if we see.
I'm up for that. I'm just gonna obviously take my hand off my rapier. But I want a view.
We'll just take ourselves.
It's then that it occurs to you that generally speaking, when travelers are on the roads and they don't mind being seen, they usually light lanterns and torches. It's only when you want to be stealthy that you don't light anything.
Right.
And that's when you hear, "Ready, aim!"
Shield.
And we'll stop there.
No.
I want to hide behind the big guy.
Yeah. I would hide behind this guy. The guy's got all his hit points back.
Yep.
No, I'm just sitting here with the shield, like curled up in a ball.
With that many arrows coming at you, it's a good thing you have a door.
Yeah.
Honestly.
That one arrow knocked you, it's like all those arrows.
We're all like,
We need to let Sarah go home so she can recover from her traumatic massage.
Yeah, it was terrible, wasn't it?
Was it a good one?
It was good. Her name is Gail. We're excited to have her on the team. Because
You get massages.
yeah, that's what I just did. That was my meeting.
They were outside
Getting a
when you were talking
massage.
about it.
Oh,
Really?
yeah, that's like that. What am I doing? I'm taking the wrong thing over. Oh, you have it. Dang it. Do you take the these?
Yeah, we've been leaving those with
Jojo?
those are yours, right?
Okay.
There's someone there.
Oh, do you remember which is the part that I needed to order? Because my dad took a picture of what he thought needed to be done. And everything.
What did he figure out?
This is what he took a picture of, but that's not the thing that.
Well,
No, it's the
It's this
connector
one.
before that.
Is it that
Yeah.
one?
Yeah, it's that one.
Okay, so what am I ordering? I still need to get this done.
There should be a part number on it.
light connector thingy.
There should be a part number. It'll be really, really small, but you should be able to just type that number in on Google and look at that.
So like this is what I'm looking at with my pants on.
Well, I know that one, I can give you an idea.
And I had it set up for my car.
It's not that. It's not that one. So, that's pretty close.
Just ice cream.
Joe's, I did.
D20 bro.
Oh,
What's up?
Good thing she had that +5
that's an
bonus.
idea.
What if we were doing a strength check?
No, that's not.
I
Because there was
would
like,
probably be, I think it's +1 for me.
there was like 5
Plus,
connectors.
it's not fair. You're rigged.
Are they the?
I guess not.
Yeah.
You're jumping into the middle of the ground, there's already part of the
Oh.
And that's why I said, if you decide, whatever you want to do.
We'll make somebody.
There you go.
Unless you decide you really like her.
Right.
I'm gonna leave it on a good note.
Well, I definitely need to share
How to do it.
Yeah, well, that's, and I kept telling them,
Only
that, you know,
good
there was,
Friday
like,
from-
I called myself on the same price, so we could honestly just.
Sit.
Park.
No, get one thing for me.
Yeah.
Three.
They don't want to join if you.
Yeah, the 510.
No, it's
Right,
just
it
a
makes sense.
So
Oh,
what I was gonna do,
Just piece
I mean, realistically,
it
it doesn't matter which connector you get, as long as it has that many wires. If you
That's
just
what I
one
was
off and
thinking.
rewire
None
them
of
for
these
both
have what I
ends,
need.
that's a 5 wire.
Like I said, if you wanna take
And like I said, as long as the,
Okay.
nice. As long as the,
That's up to
it
you.
has the same amount of wires, because you're just gonna rewire into the
And if
harness.
you find out that you.
Oh, when the
if the
harness
two
is
sessions
up,
you
connects
have
into the other
then
side.
she wanted them to do something, or they stumble across something.
Because you're gonna
or help with
replace the
days
other
and
side of the
stuff,
connector
catch up
too.
later.
Should I just go ahead and order this?
Okay.
See.
What are we fixing?
Okay, like, I mean,
Her
that,
headlight
that
keeps on
should
flickering
work.
it out. There's a couple corroded connectors in it.
and some are broken off. That should work. I thought it was 5 wires though, right?
Hmm.
Is it 5? Then that should do it.
So the search on Amazon is real.
And then you'll just
I mean, it's
replace
just
the whole
12 bucks. If
connector.
it's not the right thing, I can always just return it
Yeah,
and
you
find the right one.
That'd be fine.
So what are you doing? You're ordering the parts online and just installing it
Yeah.
yourself?
Guess it's just a, pigtail wiring
I
bracket.
don't know.
Yeah.
Would
Just like a
it
socket
would it be
connection.
easier?
Do I?
Just basically a socket.
If the wires, it's a connector, so it has 2 pieces, and the wires come in both sides. You basically cut those and rewire into a new one and connect them.
It might just be
No.
easier to go see if maybe AutoZone would be easier.
I don't know, this looks pretty easy.
No, what I'm saying is so you can get the right one, you can have them look
That's what
at
I'm
it.
saying, it doesn't matter as long as it has enough places for all the wires.
Anytime I go
Because-
to AutoZone and ask them their opinion, they're like, I don't know, you should just Google it. I'm like,
Sounds about
thanks,
right.
y'all. You're very helpful.
Oh, I walked into AutoZone one day and they didn't know what a or not. I'm stupid. No, an Allen key was.
Well, it's an Allen wrench, but
But I mean, Alan and
And I took him to the wall and I was like, hey, do you have one I can bring my bike into the store and use it?
Well, it's 12 bucks. 12 even. No
like
tax,
I said,
no
that should
shipping.
work just fine
no
though.
nothing.
Because it doesn't matter the actual connector as long as it has enough space for all the wires.
Yeah.
They're going to connect together.
That's what I was afraid of, because all the ones I was looking at the top of the list were all like
Yeah.
two prong,
Uh,
3 prong.
I'm pretty sure I remember it being 5.
Yeah, I'm ready to go.
Ugh.
All right, kids.
Next week,
All right.
Friday?
Yeah, just let me know.
Yeah.
For those of you, I don't need to sound cold and callous, but those of you who have work schedules, you know.
What about Thursday? How's Thursday work for you this week?
I mean, I'll probably be working, but I think I'm opening all next week, so
Okay.
I'll double check what my schedule
I get
is.
off at 4 on Thursday. I just didn't know how it worked for her.
That's fine.
I'll be, if I'm opening, it's either 4 or 6. If I'm closing, then
Okay.
I'm done 4.
Does Michelle's Thursday, that work for you?
Mhm.
Okay. good.
Well, I'll be in contact about my schedule.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, let us know which one works better, Thursday or Friday. Whichever one you get off. Okay.
All right.
It's delicious. Have a good night. Stay fresh.
Good night, guys.
I'll see you next week. Good luck with your call.
See you.
All right, see you, Sarah.
Yeah,
Hey, Tim.
Thank you for jumping in,
Mhm.
and thank you for dinner.
good to see you. See
See
you
you.
next week. Yeah.
Good night.
Let me know about the Google.
Oh,
I'll have to
yeah,
add
just,
it to
the
that
Hangouts.
thing.
yeah,
Yeah, just,
send your Google ID to me and I will forward it along to Joe and he'll add you into the Google Hangouts thing, and then you'll get an invite thing. All right?
all right,
All right.
we'll see you guys.
Well, she might be
Oh, I'm tired.
Poor baby.
What? What?
They're away, give them to me, what the fuck?
They're all burnt down.
I want
Yeah.
them,
For what?
my room.
Okay, well, I will get you ones that'll work for your room, although I'm not really excited about you burning
Here's
things
a
in your
whole-
room. Okay. Well, I'm not excited.
No, I just want that for future reference, just in case Naomi actually gets to come over.
Okay, well, when she does, I will give you some tea lights.
Okay, I have one for now.
Okay.
What?
That's yellow.
What?
We're talking about the sex scandals. New belt.
No, that is for 2 years.
What?
Yeah, give me that. Right there, buddy. Look at your ass.
Oh,
You have to touch it.
Okay.
oh, I bet it.
Oh, he bit it.
That's it. That's wiener.
Oh, this is still recording.
Good job, baby.
Thanks.